Completely out of the woods yet. So scattered showers and thunderstorms into the middle of the evening hours. Clearing skies after midnight and windy, 54. Tomorrow, Tuesday, partly sunny. Couple of showers, thunder showers late in the day. Mainly a dry day, 72 degrees. Tuesday night, scattered showers and thunderstorms, not severe. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Upgrade your HVAC system now, and you could qualify for Carrier Cool Cash rebates up to $2,600 and 0% financing for up to 72 months. Rebates available for a limited time. For a free estimate, aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Rain.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Turn up my mic. There you go. Thank you so much. I am really excited to tell some of you and really sad to tell some of you that there's a king in the White House and it's official.
No, I know.
It's happened.
Yeah.
Royalty, the king, all the pomp and circumstance. Officially, I think today's the day that we just call it.
I stand with the protesters. You know that. We've talked about it all year.
You're more of a lawn chair guy with the protesters, but like there.
Well, I'll lean, to stand with them as long as it's not too long and there's food. But
snacks.
Generally speaking,
they're going to be free, right?
They better be. They better be free, or at least everybody's paying the same whether they eat them or not. Spread the wealth around.
Somebody else.
But I'm really sad to see that all the protesting that we've done this year.
We've kind of embarrassed ourselves in being so adamant about no kings.
I know. And then to have a king here from England of all places.
Kind of boastfully.
Mm-hmm. I don't like it.
You spoiled my joke.
Oh, sorry.
I guess we're done with that now.
It could have been
you were talking
anywhere.
about the King of England.
What were you going to say? You can still do it.
Go back and listen to the podcast. Maybe you'll get the joke later. Oh, man. A lot of people react to I've asked questions before about, how do you feel about the royalty? A lot of times it has to do when there's a royal wedding or when the queen passed, that type of thing. And you guys are pretty adamant that you are not royalty people. You are not the folks out there who love the pomp and circumstance and are interested in. I get a lot of you. I haven't looked at the comments here. Maybe I probably could just read one instead of anticipating, but we fought 250 years ago so that we didn't have to worry about what the king and the queen were doing. The king and the queen are at the White House today from England, and they are going to address Congress at 2:00 today, which will be, the king. I'm very curious as to what he's going to say in front of Congress. What is the King of England, Mr. You'll be back, if you know, you know. What is he going to say to Congress? Because right now, Europe and the United States, I would call it complicated. That old Facebook relationship status is at best, it's complicated. What is the King of England going to say? What is his message going to be? He's very much so a diplomat for England. What is it? England and Ireland that he's king of? I don't know. They've broken up.
Northern Ireland.
Okay. So his presence is basically foreign politics, I would say. And when you look at what Keir Starmer of England is saying about the United States, the policies he's implemented, he's very much so not popular at home, maybe in the way that some polls would show that President Trump is not popular right now here. The king meets with, he's a prime minister, right?
Starmer, yeah.
Yeah, that's the title is prime minister. Yeah. The king meets, they apparently meet weekly. And so they talk, they discuss, they could have differing opinions, but Starmer is the governor, one who governs in
Governor.
The governor. Exactly. I missed the opportunity there.
Yeah.
And the king is kind of a social politicking, able to go around and bring all the regality of what the throne has been recognized as for centuries So it's a very different, unique makeup than what we have. And so the king is going to get 250 years later the opportunity to address Congress. That's a really pretty incredible thing if you really think of it. And there is a bromance between these two individuals that I think is quite unique between President Trump and the king. I'm just curious to see how that's going to shape up. You?
I think what we're going to see today is that the king is going to stand up and surprise everyone and say that he is full MAGA and that his country also needs to be full MAGA. But, he'll put a red hat on and he'll say MEGA.
I would really say that the king and those would probably just be MAG because they don't need to make America great again. They actually made America.
That's also true.
It's kind of the creators of what America was, at least at the very beginning of it. So that's supposed to happen. The address is supposed to happen at 2:00. And I think we're going to dip into it and listen to a little bit of it to see what it sounds like. I don't know how long he's going to speak. I don't know what the message is going to be, but I do think it's a historical moment 250 years later to see the King of England standing in front of the people. I think that's pretty historically relevant. So we'll dip in and see what that is going to look like. Jack Posobiec is going to be with us in about less than 10 minutes here. We're going to talk to Jack Posobiec. We had a whole lineup of people to talk to you yesterday. And of course, we were in nonstop wall-to-wall weather coverage because it was bonkers yesterday. Here downtown, around the listening area, hopefully all of you listening were able to weather the storm just very, very easily yesterday. I don't think it got as bad as certainly a week's worth of hype ended up trying to set us up for, but that's a blessing in and of itself. So Jack Posobiec will be with us here in about 8-9 minutes or so. And I have a bunch of things that I want to talk to him about. And one of them specifically, I wanted to talk to him about when I was messaging with him last week, was about the Southern Poverty Law Center story. So the Southern Poverty Law Center was indicted last week for basically taking donations from people with the idea that they were going to, combat the things that you expect the Southern Poverty Law Center to combat. Taking those funds, and what they ended up doing, specifically, I want to hone in on the Charlottesville nonsense. If you know the term Charlottesville, I mean, are you thinking of Charlottesville, the town, and all the niceties that go along with it? Or are you thinking tiki torches and pitchforks? Are you thinking one of the worst black marks on our nation's country since the civil rights movement, where a bunch of white people got together and celebrated their whiteness and tried to, squash down and in an incredibly racist, not undertone, but overtone, try to inject a very racist mentality back into our culture, because that's what Charlottesville did. And Charlottesville also bared some pretty rotten fruit for the left in the both sides comment. You remember that? The both sides comment. You remember when President Trump said there are good people on both sides? Now, depending on what side of the aisle you reside on, or maybe just what side of the Trump question you sit on, the both sides thing is a frustration for either side, because if you've heard that President Trump said there were good people on both sides, the only thing that you need to do to respond to that is that is a false premise, and you are not to, I'm telling you, this is what you need to do, not to engage in a debate as to whether or not there were good people on both sides. Because what President Trump was saying in that moment, when President Trump was speaking at Charlottesville, was he was trying to talk about the issue of a statue that was there. And he was trying to say that when people were concerned about a statue that was supposed to come down, that there were good people who thought it should stay up. There were good people who thought it should stay down. The left seized upon this moment in President Trump's earlier presidency, in his first term, and tried to make it as though there were good people on the side of the tiki torches and pitchforks. Now let's all sit down here for a second and think about what we're talking about, because the Southern Poverty Law Center sent those people there to instigate, to create a situation where there would be a spotlight on racist behavior. And so there you have the Southern Poverty Law Center setting the fire. And then that's a secret, though. That's a secret arson job, a covert arson job, where they show up to now make money, the money that they made after Charlottesville, the money that came in to the Southern Poverty Law Center, so that they could combat racism. And, people like those who are in the Aryan groups or the KKK, those are bad people, right? Donate money to us and we will fight back against them. Well, it just so turns out that the Southern Poverty Law Center sent millions of dollars to those entities to ensure that they would be able to infiltrate and inflame and then profit off the very thing that they said that they were there to fight against. I have a lot of questions about other places that the Southern Poverty Law Center may have showed up, may have infiltrated in an effort to try to stoke fires, increase flames, so they could show up right at the end and try to, put the fire out and then ask with their hand out for $1 from you. Because does hate have a home in your house? Are you somebody who is tolerant of racism? Would you say that there are good people on both sides? Well, if not, then here's what you need to do. Send a check to the Southern Poverty Law Center and we'll fight for you. You can sleep okay at night knowing that you have actively participated in anti-racism. What a vicious circle, knowing that they were the ones stoking those fires in the first place. The Southern Poverty Law Center created a hate map that pointed out places all over the country that were, entities of hate. And then if you've paid any attention, you know that if it's a hate group, they always associate it with the right. It's always somehow associated with the far right. If it's so far left that they don't want to claim it, they just assume it's lapped the circle and it lands. That's where they let it land, on the far right. Turning Point USA, according to the Southern Poverty Law Center, hate group. And then they come out with the rhetoric, they come out with the language, they're aggressive, they're hateful, and they're hateful in return because it's like the only language that you can use towards somebody who, would be a racist, would be a bigot, would be a homophobe. They are taking the fight to those people, and they talk about how if you don't participate in this fight, it's the end of the democracy. You don't want to lose our country, do you? You need to support us. And then crazy people get wind of that and understand that this is the battle of our lifetime. This is the fight of our life. And if enough things are out of order in your own life, and if your brain isn't functioning in a normal capacity, if you are somebody who hears that and feels as though you have now been ordained to take care of the problem yourself, we lose people like Charlie Kirk. We have three attempts on Donald Trump's life that we know about, ones that actually got to the point where we, the public, were aware that they were happening before they were snuffed out by the intelligence agencies. How many times has President Trump's life been threatened and we have no idea? How long did it take for you when you found out that shots were fired at the White House Correspondents' Center? How long did it take for you to ask yourself the question, is this Iran? Or is this people in the United States that hate Donald Trump so much that they're willing to do what they think they need to do to handle the situation? And it turns out, at least as far as we know, not Iran. We are in a very precarious time right now, and we have to be honest about what we're facing. We have to call out what is real. We have to be repentant when we are wrong, and we have to be honest about what is true. There's no path forward. It's not about right. It's not about left. It's about what is real, and it's about truth. Not your truth, not my truth. It's about the truth. We're going to talk about that with Jack Posobiec when we come back. He's a senior editor at Human Events, very well read in on a lot of these issues, of course, with his connection and work with Turning Point. Jack Posobiec next.
It's Mark Cox. If you enjoy your backyard like I do, you need to reach out to my friends at Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They can make it better. And make it better in time for this summer. If you reach out to them right now, you mention my name when you call, they're going to give you 20% off the bottom line of your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Listen, when you've been around since 1968 and you've been under the same ownership, you take a lot of pride in what you do, and it's a sign you have the very best when their installation crews show up at your house. Here's the thing about it. They do free in-home estimates, no obligation. They'll come out and design a project for you if that's what you're looking for. And of course, they carry the beautiful Vecadec vinyl decking for the decks that are no maintenance. How about that? You don't have to worry about it. The colors are beautiful, plus custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas. Reach out today to my friends at Chesterfield Fence. It's chesterfieldfence.com.
Mrs. Weiland, why don't you go ahead and read the top line for me?
I should.
Next line.
Get my retirement. What's that?
Checked, Mrs. Weiland. Get your retirement checked.
Planning retirement on your own doesn't pass the eye test. Jerry Ricken and Heidi Ricken Provost at Ricken Financial can help bring your retirement into focus. Call 314-207-6211. Ricken Financial, making sure your retirement vision is 2020.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IPW, a registered investment advisor.
Marie, is that you?
Oh, hi, Barb. How you doing?
Better now. Did you know we had a little health scare with Jeff?
Oh, no. What happened?
Well, he had been short of breath and was really tired a lot of the time. He just thought he was getting old and was out of shape, but it turns out it was heart valve disease.
How did you figure it out?
He finally went to the doctor, and she was able to listen to his heart and detected the problem. I didn't realize it, but heart valve disease is more common than you'd think. They were able to replace the valve, and he's feeling so much better now.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
More than 5 million Americans are diagnosed with heart valve disease every year, but most people know nothing about the condition, and it can be deadly if untreated. That's why it's important to listen to your heart and ask your doctor if your symptoms may be due to heart valve disease or if you're at high risk. A message brought to you by Heart Valve Voice US. For more information about the symptoms and treatments for valve disease, go to heartvalvevoice-us.org.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they were very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
I see these no kings, which are funded just like the Southern Law was funded. You saw all that. Southern Law is financing the KKK and lots of other radical, terrible groups. And then they go out and they say, oh, we've got to stop the KKK. And yet they give them hundreds of thousands and even millions of dollars. It's a total scam run by the Democrats. It shows you that, like Charlottesville was all funded by the Southern Law. That was a Southern Law deal, too. And it was done to make me look bad, and it turned out to be a total fake. It basically was a rigged election. This was a part of the rigging of the election, and that's what you really should be doing. I mean, I hope one of your 60-minute episodes, which really hasn't changed very much from the last few years, I'm surprised, but one of those episodes should be on Southern law and the fact that they spent millions and millions of dollars on absolute far right and just bad groups. And then they'd use those groups and they'd say, these are Republican groups, and we're coming to your rescue. And they're the ones that have funded it, and they're the ones that keep them going.
President Trump on 60 Minutes with Nora O'Donnell, they were very back and forth, you might say, in that interview. But President Trump is exactly right. What the president is pointing out there is what we've been discussing about the Southern Poverty Law Center in the background, trying to stoke the flames and fund those most hateful groups that they're supposed to be combating publicly. And they're raising a ton of money off of it. Let's get to somebody who knows the full consequence of the Southern Poverty Law Center's actions. Jack Posobiec joins us once again, senior editor at Human Events, also a veteran Navy intel officer. And I encourage you to check out his book, Unhumans, The Secret History of Communist Revolutions and How to Crush Them. Jack, welcome back to the show. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon. Jack, can you hear me okay?
Well, hey, thanks.
Yep.
Oh, I can, yes. Mixed, you hear me? I just want to say thanks so much for having me on. Glad yesterday worked out. I know you guys had a bit of a weather situation, but glad to hear that everyone is okay. But unfortunately, the political storm that we are dealing with in Washington, D.C., because of the violent left, we're only now just starting to scratch the surface of how deep this rot goes, because people need to understand the intrinsic connection, because the rise of violence that we've seen, the 3 assassination attempts on the president, including the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and these groups and this deceitful dark funding and the sinister way that they use events like Charlottesville and others to incite this type of violence.
You know, I'm pulling up here as we are speaking, Jack, the Southern Poverty Law Center hate map. This is an active page on the splcenter.org website, and it is very obvious that Turning Point has been in the, I don't know if I can even say this, crosshairs of Southern Poverty Law Center's efforts. They have referred to Turning Point as a hate group, and we know the tragic passing in September of Charlie Kirk. Passing is not even the right word. Assassination of him by somebody who's a radical. Are there consequences greater than potentially the Southern Poverty Law Center's usage of the hate that they stoked to make money? I mean, to me, it looks like it be far more consequential than that.
Well, we just have to go to the timeline just to go back and talk about what happened to Charlie, because Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA were put on the SPLC's hate map, the one you just referenced, in May of 2025. I remember talking with Charlie when that happened. I remember we were doing episodes about it, but we had no idea that just 4 months later, so that was basically, Memorial Day, and then just past Labor Day of the same summer, Charlie's gone. And he was done because, in the similar way that when you look at the manifesto of the Correspondents' Dinner shooter, where he was talking about how he felt that he was doing this out of self-defense, right? This is what they do, Annie. Groups like the SPLC and groups like this take people like Charlie or President Trump, and they say, because of the things that they are saying, they are therefore violent. Words are violence. Remember, that's what they teach. And so if their words are violence and their thoughts and statements, right? Statements, they're not doing anything. Charlie had a microphone. Those are violent. Therefore, violence in response to it is a form of self-defense. And this is something you actually see with communist movements going far, far back. And so when people say to me, how could someone do something so horrible? I say, well, because they've been inculcated in this far left ideology. They've been indoctrinated it, they've been baked into it and told that for you to lash out at someone like a Charlie Kirk or a Donald Trump, why you're helping your fellow man, you're helping the universe, you're helping the trans community. You need to do something like this. And that's exactly what Tyler Robinson said, and that's exactly what Cole Thomas Allen said in his manifesto.
Let's talk a little bit about the White House Correspondents' Dinner and what we know about this person. This person seems well educated. They seem as though they functioned in society in areas that have been, publicly documented. Educator of the Month or Teacher of the Month. Is it getting a little more obvious that there is an indoctrination that is taking place from the time that people pass through our education system, that there's something more than what I would like to see? The university system should be an employee and an employer factory. It seems as though right now our often federally subsidized university system is not at all about that. It's about indoctrination.
Well, that's exactly right. And I'll do one more, is that Luigi Maggioni also went to an elite university. He went to the University of Pennsylvania. He had high honors. He was also the valedictorian of his prep school. So someone who had high honors, high academic achievement. You see this also with Thomas Matthew Crooks having a near perfect SAT score, Tyler Robinson scoring top 1 percentile of his ACT. So we do absolutely see a correlation here. We see a profile that is starting to emerge of elite education and these types of heinous acts. And look, I'm not going to sit here and paint with a broad brush and say that anybody who goes to Caltech or UPenn or something like that,
Sure.
President Trump went to UPenn, for example, and I believe a lot of his family, a lot of his kids went there as well. And it doesn't mean that it affects everyone, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. And that doesn't mean that when you put these certain pieces of the formula together and then you add in resentment, envy, petty jealousy on top of that, some of these guys end up taking that next step and deciding to do what they view as the next logical step in the progression. I need to be the one to save the world from the hate of Donald Trump. I need to be the one to save the world from the hate of Charlie Kirk. And if I don't do it, who will do it with me? And so you get these LARPers, these people who think that they're actually fighting, Nazis and Russian spies and all of these things, because that's what they're taught over and over and over. And certain people become susceptible to it.
Jack Posobiec speaking with us right now, senior editor at Human Events. I encourage people to follow you on X at Jack Posobiec. Here's something that a lot of people are having the both sides conversation right now. Is it both sides? Is it one side? But when I hear people on the left defending that it's not just the left, I don't really ever hear people on the left say that this isn't a leftist problem. They cover that truth with these are the three issues I hear talked about the most. Those Minnesota lawmakers, that situation where that guy showed up and killed that lawmaker and their spouse, Paul Pelosi and the hammer incident, and January 6th. They use those three incidents to say that this is a both sides problem. I'm curious as your response on those three particular instances as to whether or not that's the other side of the same coin.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can look at those instances, and number one, obviously, there's a problem here with causation, right? So they're doing a backwards causation. Those were incidents. You talk about Rob Reiner, you talk about Paul Pelosi. Those things had already happened. So if the president makes a comment after something happened, that's not inciting because it's already occurred. Now, I mean, he makes his comments. We all know about his comments, but I've never seen the president call for violence like that. I've never seen the president talk about rank and file supporters like that. He has called for legal prosecutions and legal investigations, and he's always stuck to the rule of law. And gosh, if you want to go all the way back to January 6th, he was talking about a legal mechanism in the House and the Senate to overturn, or at least not even overturn, to look into the election of 2020. If you go through all of his statements, that is what he said over and over and over. And he would, give these speeches talking about why it should be looked at. He never called for violence. Yeah. It just didn't happen. So there's a difference between that and, okay, you're going to make a statement, you're going to make a comment. We know it's been a fractious environment, but he doesn't make these calls for saying that we need to silence our opponents, that we need to go after them, that we need to do these things. And I'll just say one further on the both sides. And I've said this to many journalists. Look at the reaction to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Yeah. The right didn't pick up guns. They didn't go and rush to the battlements and say we need to take to the streets or compare it to the George Floyd reaction. The right didn't do anything like that. And I've said this to journalists. If we were the people that you say we are, then that would have been the moment. But how did we react? We showed you who we are. We reacted with prayer, with candles, with linking arms, and not just in this country, Annie, but all around the world, because that's who we are. We are people of God. We are believers. We are the faithful. And when we held Charlie's memorial, that is what you saw on full display.
Yeah, that was a very spiritual experience. I know for a lot of people who shared that faith, but even for those who were watching it, opened a lot of eyes for people who were like, this is an interesting way to react to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It was, dare I say, perfect. Jack Posobiec speaking with us right now. I want to give you an opportunity to talk about moving forward here, because I think that the America First message that this president, the thought, the goal of America First, that this administration and that, the MAGA, people want to call it MAGA, that means a lot. It's a charged word at this point. The America First message is still a very popular message among the people, but there's a lot of these things that tend to get in the way. I don't want to call them distractions because they're very important stories and they deserve the attention they're getting. But how President Trump's got 3 years left in his term. They've tried to kill him 3 times. How does the president continue to stay the course to implement as much America First policy as he can with the 3 years he has left, with the climate that is out there right now politically, the hate that exists, the desire for his death that exists?
Well, I certainly agree with you that we need to do more to crack down on this. We need to crack down on these violent groups. By the way, this guy seems to be a member of one of these anti-ICE groups that was out there, and I've called many times for full criminal investigations at the federal level into every single one of them. Posts he was making on Blue Sky, we need to crack down in terms of that more and really look into people that are spreading violent rhetoric and incendiary. And again, if people are making comments that are under the First Amendment, that's under the First Amendment. But when that crosses a line, and we all know what that line is, then you should be getting a visit. But one of the big pieces that I've loved to see, where we do actually have a bit of a course correction now, and I say that as a Navy guy, that with Todd Blanche taking the reins over at the Department of Justice, look at what we've seen just in the last 4 weeks. It hasn't even been a full month yet that Todd Blanche has been in charge of Main Justice there at DOJ, where we've seen the SPLC indictment, which you just outlined. Mm-hmm. We've seen now, as of this morning, these raids on fraud centers in Minneapolis and all across Minnesota. And I even just saw, I haven't even gone through the full indictment yet. They just indicted a Fauci advisor for covering up the origins of COVID and the Wuhan lab, and it's a federal indictment. So this has been one of the missing pieces, I think, is that accountability. It's not revenge. It's accountability for things that have been perpetuated upon the American people for the last 6 to 10 years that were such a big part of the 2024 campaign that I think a lot of people, and rightly so, were saying we want to see more accountability. And I think in the last 4 weeks, we're starting to see that.
I think so as well. Jack Posobiec, we're going to let you go, and thank you for your time today and your flexibility with the reschedule from yesterday. We appreciate your voice here very much. Thanks for the time.
Of course. God bless. I'm glad everyone was safe.
Yep. God bless you as well, Jack Posobiec. We'll talk to you again soon. Senior editor at Human Events. He's got a show coming up in like 24 minutes that he does. So it's pretty nice that he fits us in when he does here on this show right before he goes on the air. Jack Posobiec. We're going to break now. We'll do Wiggins America here when we come back. And we'll talk a little bit about the YouTube poll that we have up here. Do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe? Yes or no? But we've got 3 yes options for you. Yes, just on the whole, just flat yes, give me that. Or yes, but you don't want to see the United States compromised. You'd like to see improved relations, but you don't want the United States to do anything that they shouldn't do. Yes, the United States must change course. You think the U.S. has kind of fumbled this or screwed it up. Or like I said, just flat out no. YouTube.com/@AnnieFrey. You go to my YouTube channel, you find our live broadcast, and there's a big live chat that happens every day during the show. You can join that. That's where the poll is. But you can also text us on the Annie Frey Show text line, 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. We'll be right back.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Just a reminder to have your air conditioner checked for the summer so you don't have a mishap and it goes down in the hottest day of the year. But it's always best to have it done. Call us and we'll be more than happy to come out there and check it for you. And like always, if you're having your furnace checked by another company and you are told that this is the year you need to replace it, call me for a second opinion. The 0% interest is still available on most brands. Save your cash and keep your credit cards open and away from those high rates. Call me. You'll be glad you did. Bart Inman, one easy number in Missouri and Illinois. The easiest. It is 314-293-2600. Or on the website, bartinman.com. Now that's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
The YouTube live chat poll today is, do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe? A few options here. Yes, yes, but no U.S. compromise. Yes, U.S. must change course, or no. Let us know what you think about the YouTube live chat poll today. A couple ways you can do that. You can vote by logging on to YouTube and typing in Annie Frey Show, and today's date will come up. You'll see it. We're live right now. Hello, hello. You can vote there and leave a comment, or you can text in 314-241-9797. Now, your text won't count toward the final vote. You have to do that on YouTube, but we'll at least see your comment there. It is 12:41. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
For details and a list of all station contest rules, visit www.971talk.com/rules. What's happening now
He appears to reference a motive.
is happening here.
He writes this quote, administration officials, they are targets.
It doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. We're going to continue to do a great job.
97.1 FM Talk. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I was Googling something with this song here. Is it? Oh, this. It's All Right by Huey Lewis. I always think this is the song from It.
Well, I think it is.
When they all get together and they're hanging out and as adults, they get back to this like the creepiest house that you could ever go to. If you were getting back together with your friends who experienced something as horrific as what the kids in It experienced, and you decide to get back together at that house, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing? I was listening to the Best of Huey Lewis this weekend.
So good.
It's a great CD.
So, Huey Lewis it takes me back to the 80s. Right there immediately.
Well, what's
the
crazy?
very simpleness of our youth.
You forget how many hits he had.
I don't.
It's the whole CD is hits because a lot of the greatest
it's the greatest hits.
Well, the greatest hits CD though, a lot
Where
of them.
else would you look for his greatest hits?
A lot of them, if they have this many hits, they'll make it into a double and then make you pay more, and they'll include a bunch of songs that you're like, maybe I've heard that.
Do you pay for a music streaming service?
No, I still buy CDs.
What do you do with them?
I listen to the CDs.
How do you do that on your phone?
In my car. I still have well, at least one of our cars still has a CD player.
Does your car have Bluetooth audio? Do you talk on your phone?
No, I don't think that one does.
You don't think?
Well, the one that has the CD player, I don't think it has that. But the new one probably does. I'm just behind. I just don't care. And at some point, you probably hit a point in your life where you go, yeah, I'm just done catching up. I think I've already hit that.
It just seems to be a lot safer. Do you just talk on your phone? Just talk on your phone?
Well, what I do is I'll answer a call and then I have one of those stands on my vent. So I'll just stick it on there and put it on.
So it's in front of
speaker.
you, but so you kind of have maps if you need it in front of
Yeah.
you. It's just not built into the system.
Right.
And then speakerphone?
Speakerphone. That's how you do it. And I never had to learn anything new. It's great.
You had to learn your phone.
Well,
the
but that's what
things
I'm
you're
saying.
using on your phone are newer than the things that have been in cars.
The Bluetooth?
Yeah.
Oh, is it? I mean, it's hitting speakerphone. I'm not really doing anything hard.
Well, I mean, I would say that Bluetooth has been in cars for longer than the phone that is as smart as the one you have.
Tell you what, the car I have from 2009, it has some sort of system that it says.
Is that the Taurus?
Advanced, yeah.
I had a 2009 Taurus. That's the one that got carjacked.
That's what that is, a 2009 Taurus. It's a nice car. It was my grandma's car.
Yes, they thought so.
Yeah. It had everything latest that 2009 had to offer, and none of it is useful now, other than the CD player, I guess.
But it's still nice.
It's still nice.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
All right. Well, the YouTube poll for today, do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe? Yes, but not with a U.S. compromise. Yes, but you want the U.S. to change course, or no? So we have the king and the queen visiting here stateside, and they've done some pomp and circumstance. There's this picture. I just reposted it on my X account at Annie Frey Show from the White House. I think the White House put it out originally, but it's President Trump and Melania and the king and the queen, and they're around some honey and some bees. Is that an English thing? Are they known for like bees and honey or whatever?
No.
I
Queen.
don't think it's a pun.
Maybe.
That would be so terrible. But Trump has his hand out, and there's a bee crawling on it. And he's looking at it like, hey, little buddy.
Oh.
Which is what I retweeted it or reposted it. It just said, hey, little buddy. So they're doing all of these. You know, somebody tried to kill President Trump Saturday, and now he's palling around with the King of England on our 250th birthday year. And the king is going to address Congress. I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know what he's going to say to Congress 250 years later. If, I would hope that he would talk about our strengthened bond and all the flowery nice things, but we're not really in a good way right now with Europe, and certainly not with Keir Starmer and Britain and all of these different places. The direction that a lot of these European countries are going is as though in the United States, if we would have only had far leftists in charge of our country, as we bob and weave through the immigration that's coming into this country and the assimilation that doesn't happen when great crowds of immigrants come. I mean, we have resettled, is it good in the United States of America that we would take refugees and immigrants, let's just say the legal kind, the ones who come here through a system and through a process that is designed by the country? Is it good that we take them and we put all of a certain group of people in one place Dearborn, Michigan is certainly an instance that where we have resettled a lot of people there. And then those people who live that walk of life, they go there and now they're living in a mini version of a foreign country versus assimilating into the ways of the United States. We used to say we were a melting pot. Then it turned into, we're not a melting pot. We are, remember when it was turned into a salad bowl where it was like, we haven't come together and changed, but we coexist together and we're better because of it. This is not that. What's your response to this? Do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe?
Well, I'm a yes, but no U.S. compromise. I actually like the way that we have dug our heels in and said to them, you're losing your way. Because not only is that correct, I think there are people in Europe who are very responsive to it. And not just the right, because obviously the right is probably already agreeing with us, but the left has had to address that issue. And I don't know that they're really doing a lot yet, but they're addressing it.
There's definitely a loud enough voice in some of these European countries that are looking at what the United States are doing, which is saying, we are America and we're proud to be America. And if you come here, you have to do things the way we do things. And, I'm not talking about everything culturally and all of that. I'm talking about you got to work in our system.
Yeah.
We have laws. And if you come here, you are surrendering to those laws. Period.
And you have your, like, this is from America to Europe. You have your cultures.
Yeah.
Many of them. Don't change them for the sake of leftist doctrine because of illegal immigration or legal otherwise. You have a culture. Preserve that culture.
I always look to European countries when, if we were to say, yeah, I'm proud to be American, America, that whole thing, there's almost a political connotation to saying that, which is silly. We should be a country where 75-80% of the country is like, heck yeah, I'm proud to be American. And that doesn't mean anything about who you vote for. And I always used to think to myself, if you're from France, you're very proud to be French. If you're from Italy, you're incredibly proud, boastfully, arrogantly proud to say I'm Italian, to say that I'm German, to say that I'm, any English, any of these different areas in that country. It is a boastful place of oozing pride that you have when you're European. But then when you come to the United States, the number one thing you need to say is we've had a really difficult past. As if they haven't? There's no trouble or difficulty in the past in these European countries? Of course there is. Let's get to Wiggins America next.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins! All right, these are a series of stories that make you question yourself and say something along the lines of, what? What?
I'm going to question myself.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to kill time until the thing played.
Okay. I know that game.
You know how that goes.
I know how that goes.
Let's start with a little bit of drivel, but it's pretty entertaining still. Here we go. They interviewed Lisa Kudrow from Friends and asked her basically, how much money are you making? Which I thought was off limits, but she answered it. Lisa Kudrow has revealed that she and her fellow Friends co-stars still earn a whopping $20 million every year.
Are you serious?
In residuals.
Oh, my gosh.
More than 2 decades after the sitcom came to an end.
Good for them.
No kidding. Usually you get past 5 seasons in the old model. I don't know what it is now. And you can start really raking in some residuals. But Friends was on for a long time. Top show.
Did you like Friends?
Friends was funny. I never got into it in the same way that a lot of people did, but
I wasn't allowed to watch it when it was out.
Well, there's a lot of weird, like the morality of their sexual encounters.
I mean, it's just promiscuity. I mean, it's just a normalized understanding.
Yeah.
That if you were to reshoot Friends, but say you only have one rule change, sex is only for marriage. There's no show.
There is no show.
With that being said, I've watched the full series probably 4 or 5 times in order, and I laugh a lot.
It's a funny show.
It's a funny show.
So, Brad, are you a Friends fan before we move on?
Not really.
Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry, I never really got into it. My wife loved it, but I just never got into it.
I mean, all of the characters in Friends are such parodies of a certain type of person. Who are you most? This is where you say something really, really ridiculous. Like, I'm Rachel, obviously, because...
I would be the Courtney Cox of the show.
Super clean, attention to detail, overachiever.
Loves Matthew Perry. So I could maybe say Matthew Perry, but I'd rather be Courtney Cox.
As I suspected. You're not Matthew Perry.
Why?
Why would you be?
Of the show, I would be probably Matthew Perry, wouldn't I? I'm not Joey.
You're somewhere between Joey and Matthew.
Okay, that's fair. This story, actually, let me play my sounder, Brad.
Maybe you are Matthew Perry. I'm going to think about this for the rest of the show.
That's fine.
I'm going to be in the middle of talking to Fred Fleitz here in about 15 minutes, and I'll be like, definitely Monica. You're right. Fred Fleitz, who are you and friends?
And don't even do it at the beginning. Halfway through the interview.
Yeah, follow-up question. There's a lot really here on the line in the Middle East.
Who are you and friends? Of the 6 major characters.
Yeah. Paul Rudd. That's who you are. You're Paul Rudd.
Okay, I'm going to tell a story here, and this is from the Daily Mail. It says...
Said with confidence.
A backpacker arrived home from her Vietnamese travels with an unwelcome souvenir.
Oh, no.
That left her reeling in disbelief.
No.
Daniela Liverani started suffering regular nosebleeds whilst touring Southeast Asia.
Does she have a parasite in her nose?
In 2014. Oh, you'll just have to follow along. Which the then 24-year-old put down to nothing more than just a ruptured blood vessel. Yet after arriving back at her Edinburgh home, she spotted something jutting out from her right nostril.
I'm going to barf.
Mistaking it for a simple blood clot. She ultimately ended up at A&E in Edinburgh's Royal Infirmary Hospital after discovering that a leech had been living inside her nose for an entire month.
No.
Oh, yeah. It's disgusting. Even as the leech started protruding from her nose, Daniela, who was working behind a bar at the time, remained convinced it was simply a blood clot. She said, I saw him so many times.
Him?
Mm-hmm. But I just sniffed him back up, reports the Mirror.
My God.
I tried to blow him out and grab him, but I couldn't get a grip on him before he retreated back up my nose. When I was in the shower, he would come out.
Stop saying he. Say it. I don't care what the words in the paper say, but I'm going to leave the room.
It would come out
Thank
as
you.
far as my bottom lip, and I could see it sticking out the bottom of my nose. So when that happened, I jumped out of the shower to look really closely in the mirror, and I saw ridges on it.
Why wouldn't she just immediately snot rocket that thing right out?
Well, because it's grabbed onto the inside of your nose. So she ended up, to summarize here, she ends up going to the hospital, and they realize, oh, you have a leech in your nose, and it's not small. So they tweeze it, and it keeps retracting. And when they finally grab
There's
it,
not going to be anyone around to hear me ask Fred Fleitz the
they
friend's
start
question.
to pull.
You've purged every listener, including myself.
And it just kind of like sticks in and remains. So they finally had to
I've actually turned my headphones off.
give her some anesthesia and get the thing removed. And it was basically as long as her entire nose. That was the most entertaining story of the last 7 days that I have read.
What?
Last one, just because I don't think we really talked about this much. Yesterday was a weird day here reporting news or reporting weather constantly. But did anybody see the woman snatching wine bottles in the aftermath of the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Yeah.
Okay with that?
Don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me at all.
Because she paid a nice hefty price for the ticket?
I just... if the story walking out of somebody shooting at the president in the press is we're mad at the Ukrainian ambassador for pulling wine bottles off a table, we're cooked.
I thought this was an entertaining story because I thought the same thing. Like, hey, might as well. Hey, if the dinner's not going to take place and I paid $300, I'm going to get
I don't
some
know
wine.
that they're entitled to it or not, but here's the thing. There's a lot of people commenting on it that don't know the details about what's going on at all. So, I don't know. Fred Fleitz and the Friends question. Maybe we'll talk about Iran next.
Last year, we had 295 trials where we'd been offered a total of $90 million on all those cases. When the dust settled, we had recovered over $1.1 billion in verdicts and mid-trial settlements. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. We became America's largest injury firm for a reason. We won a lot, $30 billion and counting. The best part of all those wins is that it helps you when you hire us. All those wins allow us to let the insurance company know we mean business. And believe me, they know who we are. If you've been injured, Google Morgan & Morgan results. You're not bragging if it's a fact. 3 million people tried to hire us last year alone. That happened for a reason. Visit forthepeople.com and let's get started this minute. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
How's your HVAC working after yesterday's storms? I know that sometimes those air conditioners can take a walloping with the storms that come through, maybe foliage or whatever gets up in there. And I think it's important to understand the necessity of maintenance of your HVAC system, heating and cooling, of course, alike. And I know that if you call 314-513-0091 right now, 314-513-0091, you can sign up to be a preferred partner. That's going to get you regularly scheduled heating and cooling system checks where they're going to check the entire system 2 times a year. So if something is a little off, if something's not working efficiently, you don't want it to be pushing that air running all of the time. If it's not doing the job, meeting the expectations that you have, these twice-a-year checks, it's going to catch that type of stuff. Discounts on diagnostic calls and repairs as well, and priority service. You can call them at 314-513-0091. Tell them Annie sent you. aircomfortservice.com.
Guys, it's time to take charge of your health with my friends at Victory Men's Health. Mark Cox here. I already love what they do at Victory. They do hormone optimization, sexual health, weight loss, even vitamin deficiencies. Now they're offering specialty cardiovascular testing and even early detection cancer screening. Visit them at one of their 4 great locations, now in Sunset Hills, Town and Country, O'Fallon, Missouri, and O'Fallon, Illinois. Tell them Mark Cox sent you. Go to victorymenshealth.com. Beat the spring cleaning rush and zero res. Mark Cox here. Buy 1 room of carpet, get 1 clean for free, unlimited rooms, and whole system duct cleaning for just $5.99. Visit ZeroResSTL.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
A king is set to make history on Capitol Hill. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. An hour from now, King Charles to become the first British king to address a joint meeting of Congress. His mother, Queen Elizabeth, also did in 1991. This follows a royal welcome at the White House with a review of troops, military bands, and a fighter jet flyover.
President Trump described the ties binding the U.S. and U.K. 250 years after American independence.
The soldiers who once called each other Redcoats and Yankees became the Tommies and the GIs who together saved the free world.
Absent from the president's remarks any mention of current tensions with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, President Trump has criticized the UK leader for refusing to do more in the war with Iran.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The king arriving at the Capitol a short time ago, meeting with the House Speaker. Also on Capitol Hill, victims' families and survivors of the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who were hoping to meet with the king.
You would expect this to be a moment for the king to give a message to the world that he stands with survivors. We still can't get that from our own president of the United States.
Sky Roberts is the brother of Virginia Giuffre, who was famously pictured alongside the king's brother Andrew and sued him for sexual assault, winning a settlement before later dying by suicide. Andrew still denies wrongdoing, but has since been stripped of royal titles and arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Just getting word that former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted again, this time in connection with a post considered by critics to be a threat against the president. The number's 8647, written in seashells on a beach. No confirmation yet of specific charges. A previous indictment over Comey's testimony to Congress was tossed out over the interim federal prosecutor involved. America is listening to Fox News.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A fairly quiet Tuesday on our hands. Partly sunny skies going through the afternoon, but a secondary cold front rolling in will trigger a couple of showers, a couple of non-severe thunderstorms late this afternoon. 72. Some scattered showers, non-severe storms tonight. 50. Wednesday, sunny, nice, though cool. 68. 68 and sunny again on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get your AC ready for summer while helping shelter pets. Book your AC clean and check in April, and Air Comfort Service will donate a bag of pet food to Open Door Animal Sanctuary. AirComfortService.com/pet food.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
If there is no deal, what comes next? Well, again, that's the president's decision to make. I would start out by reminding everybody that the level of sanctions on Iran are extraordinary. The pressure on Iran is extraordinary, and I think more can be brought to bear. But I hope that in the aftermath of this conflict, the whole world's eyes have been opened to the threat Iran poses.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio speaking with Trey Ying's reporting for Fox News there. And, you know, the question that we all have on our mind as civilians who are watching from afar with the publicly available knowledge that we have been provided, we all want to see peace. And I'm curious, maybe peace just looks like a non-nuclear Iran. And maybe the handshakes and the fanfare that we would maybe like to see as a signature of a peace deal being signed, that maybe that's an expectation that is unrealistic and not even necessary. Possibly. Let's ask an expert about it. Fred Fleitz joins us once again, Vice Chair for the America First Policy Institute Center for American Security and former NSC Chief of Staff, CIA analyst, and House of Intelligence Committee staff member. Thank you so much for being here with us today. It's good to have you back.
Hi, Annie. Good to be here.
So, you know, that's what my main question, 30,000-foot view from an expert like yourself on peace and what it looks like. It may be the possibility that peace exists because Iran seems to be the number one, if not almost even the only non-negotiable goal for President Trump. No nuclear bombs for Iran. That in and of itself is a peace.
Well, it's a problem because the Iranians can't be trusted. They cheated on the nuclear deal they signed with Obama. Even if Trump could negotiate a deal with them, they're not going to honor it. So I'm advocating something new, and that is Trump just declares the war is over. And if the Strait of Hormuz is secure, the Iranians stop bombing it, we'll consider the war over. And we will not tolerate Iran getting nuclear weapons. We don't care if they claim they have a right to nuclear weapons, but if they try to start making them, we'll bomb them again. But I don't think we're going to get a nuclear agreement with them because they're fanatic Islamists who will go down in flames. And we need to end this war. President Trump said, no unending wars, no quagmires. We shouldn't let these fanatics drag us into a conflict that never ends. Let's just end it, tell them they can't have nuclear weapons, and they try to get them, we'll bomb them to kingdom come.
Yeah. I mean, listening to what you say, it's kind of the thought that I've been having here in the last few days is, for me, for somebody who has to cover this, and I have nowhere near the depth of knowledge, certainly why we bring experts like yourself on, there's something that I want to see. But even the assurance of whatever pomp and circumstance could be sprinkled over some sort of skirted table where you have, you know, maybe Secretary Rubio and somebody from Iran, or maybe it's President Trump, if they sit there and they're doing all the fancy things, when they walk away, to your point, Iran is still going to do things that Iran is still going to do, and we're still going to have to monitor that they're not going to commit to try to rebuild their nuclear program. So maybe maybe we don't have to care about any of that political visual stuff. Maybe it's time to just move on.
Yeah, I mean, remember that the late Supreme Leader said, we're not going to build nuclear weapons. We're not going to have missiles with a range of over 2,000 kilometers. Both of those were lies.
Yeah.
That wasn't true. Oh, he made this as a religious edict. No, he didn't. He lied. And they'll lie again. And I worry that to get an agreement with the Iranians, we'll have to make compromises, which we're already hearing hints of. I don't think these people are speaking for the president. Well, maybe we'll let them enrich uranium after 20 years. No, they can never enrich uranium. If they start enriching it, we'll bomb their enrichment sites. We don't care if they think they have the right to do it. But we need to wrap the war up. That's what President Trump's supporters want and need. He has to focus on the economy. Let's end this conflict.
Fred Fleitz speaking with us with the America First Policy Institute and your expertise in tow. Talk to me about the Strait of Hormuz, because it's hard to get a clear answer on what's actually going on there. Is it opened? Is it closed? Who's in charge of determining if it's open or closed? Tell us what we can understand about what's going on there in the Strait of Hormuz.
I think it's partially open right now, and some oil tankers are getting through it. The Iranian regime is threatening to close it again, like we closed it, because Iran was threatening tankers. But we also have a situation where we're not letting ships go to Iranian ports until Iran agrees to an agreement. I think the agreement should be the conflict is over, you stop attacking, we're going to let your ships through. But look, if Iran doesn't do that, we really have them over a barrel, because their oil economy is going to shut down. If their oil wells cannot put their oil somewhere, the wells will have to shut down. Some of them will never restart because of the physics of oil wells. There's pressure in them. Once they stop producing oil, some of them can't be easily restarted. It could do enormous damage to the Iranian economy. So we do have leverage over Iran right now.
So, President Trump is emphatic that we hold all the cards, that there's nothing that Iran has right now to bring to the negotiating table, which, to your point, why would we go to a negotiating table if there's nothing to negotiate, if we do hold all of the cards? What steps do you need to see in order to do what you're saying, which is just declare victory and pull out? How does that actually come to be?
I think the president has to make that point. And we also have to get away from this idea that we have to dig out this enriched uranium that's buried under a nuclear site. We don't need to do that. I don't think that stuff is usable. But even if the Iranians one day could dig it out, they don't have the facilities to make it into nuclear weapons fuel. The president bombed the heck out of it. It's being monitored by satellite. I just think this administration has to make a clear case for why we've won, why we're going to move on. And if Iran does belligerent things and threaten security again, we'll be back.
Yeah, and it seems as though we're at the ready at any time and incredibly capable of doing what we need to do in a short amount of time. They've definitely proved that point. Let me ask you that on a greater scale globally speaking, specifically with our, enemies in China or Russia or frenemies in Europe. Has our military strength and ability on the global stage affected our relationship with some of these people who we've gone back and forth with quite a bit in the last few decades?
You must be friends with my good friend Chris Ruddy, president of Newsmax, because he wrote an incredible op-ed on Newsmax.com. I hope your listeners take a look at it on the 9 ways we won this war. In 2 ways, he talks about how China's a real loser and Russia's been undermined too, because Iran is a major proxy of Russia and China. And China's economy has been hurt. The supply of attack drones to Russia from Iran has been undermined. And we're putting together a very strong U.S.-Israel Arab state coalition in the Arabian Gulf region that Russia and China are not part of. It's a big win for the U.S.
So when we look at the possibility of declaring war, we've been able to flex our military muscles across the world and seen maybe some consequential benefits from that. We were not in Iran. We didn't do what we did in Iran solely for the people of Iran. Now, that government, that ridiculously zealotry government that was there, killed, 40,000 Iranian people there. Those people are now living in a country where there is a very unsettled government structure. A lot of damage has been done to a lot of the structures that exist around the government. Does the United States have any responsibility after we declare victory to those people in Iran as to what happens next?
I think so. We need to continue to support the Iranian people. This regime has been weakened. It is holding on by denying access to the internet and keeping the people down from the barrel of a gun. This is not going to last indefinitely. I don't know when the uprising is coming that will overthrow this government. I do think it's coming. It will take some time. The broken economy, which is getting worse, will play a factor here. Look, security forces can't be paid. The people don't have food and water. It's an unsustainable situation over the long term for this regime.
Is it just the responsibility of the United States? Can we put some pressure on Israel or other maybe more regionally located countries to support that effort?
It's the responsibility of the world. And it's just amazing. We see these European states so hostile to this effort to help Iran and the Iranian people, yet they're always for the people of Gaza. I mean, I don't understand the double standard. Why aren't they standing for the people of Iran? When President Trump condemned those 9 women who were going to be executed for participating in demonstrations for freedom, where were Europe's leaders? Where was the Pope? And I'm Catholic, so I can say this. The double standard here is just astounding, and we need people to do the right thing.
I'm glad you asked that. We bring that point up about the Pope and European allies that we have had in the past and may continue to have in the future. Every day on our show, we ask a poll on our YouTube live broadcast that simulcasts with our radio broadcast here. And today's is, do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe? Of course, there is a king in the White House today, but it's King Charles, not the other one that some half of our country thinks is there in the White House. And it'll be an interesting thing to see what he's going to say in front of Congress here in less than an hour. But NATO, the EU, different countries individually in Europe have had some criticisms to lobby towards Donald Trump. And Donald Trump has certainly had quite a few criticisms to lobby back to the absence of his European allies in the last a few months. What do you want to see happen and what needs to happen between our relationship with the United States and Europe?
Well, we need that relationship. We need the U.S.-UK special relationship. I do think we need Europe and we need NATO. And I think we can repair this relationship. I wish the Europeans were with us. We have a lot of European leaders, especially in the UK and France, who are frankly spineless, and I think are really relying on appeasing their left-wing constituents and large numbers of Muslim constituents who got there because they're illegal migrants. I think this sort of ties their hands. I think they need to do the right thing for their country and for global security. But I also think that these relationships are time-tested, and they may be in trouble right now, but I think they'll recover.
We're speaking with Fred Fleitz, Vice Chair for the America First Policy Institute Center for American Security. Before we let you go, regarding that, is there a difference for us folks who don't know these inner relationships? And you talk about the long history of some of these relationships, and it's not like it's always puppies, sunshine, and rainbows. There's been some very complicated issues between the United States and Europe in the past, certainly. Is there a difference for folks like us who are watching what some of these European nations will say, or their leaders, what they'll say? Is there a difference between the public-facing politics and the closed door or private phone call sessions that are discussing policy? Is there a conflict there at all?
I think there's a better relationship behind the scenes. I think there's been too much public posturing, but also people don't remember history. We've had huge differences with Europe over the years, over the Suez Crisis, when European states didn't join us in the Vietnam War. There were differences over the war in Iraq with certain European states. This isn't the first time that we've had feuds and quarrels and major differences. Many years ago, Charles de Gaulle threw NATO and NATO forces out of France. This was a huge breach at the time. It didn't break NATO, but it almost did. So these things have happened before. We'll get through this. Last
question. The King has visited the White House. Do you have any thoughts on King Charles and the Queen being here in our 250th year? It's just quite an interesting moment to see the King walking on into the Capitol with the Speaker of the House, a full, clear representation of the Democratic Republic that we've established here 250 years later. Any thoughts on that?
There is enormous animosity and hatred towards President Trump right now. It took a lot of guts for King Charles to ignore all that and intense pressure on him not to come anyway because of his friendship with President Trump and because he wants to repair the U.S.-UK relationship. And you could hear in President Trump's statement earlier today, he wants to repair that relationship too. And I was very glad to hear that.
Well, we will continue to monitor the situation. And Fred Fleitz, thank you so much for the time and the expertise today. It's very valuable to our audience. We appreciate you.
Good to be here.
Take care. Bye-bye. The vice chair for the America First Policy Institute Center for American Security, a former NSC chief of staff, CIA analyst, and House of Intelligence Committee staff member. He has a book, An American First Approach to U.S. National Security. His name is Fred Fleitz. Good to have him. We'll have Joe Concha at the bottom of the hour, about 13 minutes from right now, so stick around for Joe Concha's reaction to the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting and see if he has any interest in the royalty that has come to our side of the pond. Joe Concha will be with us in 13 minutes. And your thoughts on that YouTube poll, you can text us at 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797, and tell us, do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe? You can see the different options there on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and the live chat poll. And you can text us your thoughts as well, 314-241-9797. News coming out of Washington, D.C. The DOJ has issued another indictment to a character. The name is going to come right to you. You're going to say, another one? What now? It's a pretty big one. I'll tell you what it is when we come back. Don't go away. Home Shield Foundation Repairs.com. Did you find any of that water making its way into your basement, into your home yesterday? Some of the areas, and I saw the airport got a whole ton of rain. Before we even left yesterday, it was like 1 1/3 inches. It is a problem when that water gets in your house. It degrades your foundation and makes your home unstable. Get Home Shield Foundation Repair out to your home. Invite Matt Hayes at 314-271-9900, 314-271-9900. Invite him to come look and see what kind of issues you have facing your basement so he can give you solutions that'll fix it once and for all. Basement waterproofing with Home Shield Foundation Repair comes with a lifetime warranty. You're hiring local people who have poured themselves into this business to make sure that the problem is solved once and for all. 314-271-9900, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So as I was saying before we went to break there, that there is another indictment that has come out here from the Justice Department. Jack Posobiec was on with us at the beginning of the show at 12:18, and he was talking about how active the acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has been so far. And let's just dip in and see what CNN had to say about the latest indictment that we're hearing about here.
CNN, the Department of Justice has indicted former FBI Director James Comey for a second time. Kristen Holmes is live at the White House with more. Kristen, we should let our viewers know for context, he was previously indicted in September of last year on federal charges of making false statements and obstruction of justice related to his testimony. Those charges were later dropped, in part because the judge ruled that the interim U.S. attorney who brought them lacked authority to do so. But now we're learning that the administration has now sought charges against Comey again.
That's right, and that he was indicted a second time by the Justice Department. We do not know what these charges are. Just when it comes to what you were referring to, one of the things that we had heard from inside the White House, inside the Trump Justice Department, had been this idea that even though the judge said that he was throwing out the charges, that they could bring additional charges later because of the fact that it was all about that interim attorney, Lindsay Halligan. There was a belief inside of the Trump administration and inside the White House that they would be bringing charges again. And I can tell you from talking to people who are close to President Trump, this was somewhat of a priority for him. He wanted charges brought against James Comey. Obviously, the two of them have had an acrimonious relationship. He was the FBI director under President Trump.
So there you have the CNN report on James Comey and his second indictment. Let's look at what Fox News is reporting here. Former FBI Director James Comey has been indicted a second time by the Justice Department. Fox News has learned this time in relation to an Instagram photo of an 8647 shell formation on the beach. The charges against him were not immediately clear. So they know that it was from that Instagram post. Whew. 8647, huh? Isn't it? One of two things. There are two possibilities here. Both are bad. You have a former FBI director that, imagine he comes upon a scene and let's just say that maybe there's been a murder or some sort of attack or abuse, and they go into someone's home and it says 86 Jane Doe, and the FBI director's like, well, nothing to see here. I mean, are you kidding me? Come on. 8647 came across this and thought it was nice. You're either that dumb or you think we're that dumb. And I can tell you one of those that I know about. I certainly don't see that and think that you just innocently like these shells. First of all, I doubt those shells just formulated the way that they did.
Over millions of years.
Evolution, the Big Bang, and dinosaurs, and those shells.
Yep.
I don't know what else. Those are the only explanations.
Yeah.
The FBI director, Mr. Got to see a clue everywhere it can be and put clues together to try to solve big mysteries.
That should be tomorrow's poll. How did the shells form? Evolution should be the first one.
Just came across these shells.
Second should be James Comey.
And then he was just like, when he was talking about it, he was like, I just thought they looked nice. Come on. Oh, I don't know what these charges are going to be. I like how CNN is like, Comey and Trump don't have the best relationship. Well, whose fault is that?
Yeah, James Comey, you wonder whether any of the other stuff that they've talked about with him and Deep State and all that stuff would have come back up in Trump's second term if it weren't for the stupid shell post. They may have. But the shell post is definitely what kicked it all off, at least publicly. And I bet he regrets ever sharing that stupid post that he made a couple months into the second administration.
It's so petty.
It is. It's so stupid.
And I don't know. I have to wait and see what these charges are about and for. But it does look like the pettiness of the 8647 might be met with the pettiness of Trump's Justice Department. And I don't know if I'm like, well, here we are.
But that's what makes you wonder, because the other stuff that they've talked about, I can't even remember all of it, what it is right now. I know that he's tied in with all of the different Clapper and James Brennan and all the other people that are part of the Obama stuff. Would it all have come out anyway? Maybe so. But Comey definitely ate it by putting this out publicly, because it did seem to be the spearhead.
I just put in James Comey in my just searched it with all the audio I have that goes back 6+ years. And I'm just looking at all these clips, and I'm just reading them, and they're making me mad. It's just going back and looking at the history of what James Comey has done in his position as the FBI director. And you know what? Sometimes you got the Eric Swalwells and the Adam Schiffs of the world, and I'll throw in a few Republican side names, the Matt Gaetzes of the world, and, maybe the Marjorie Taylor Greens. There's just this kind of extra splash of arrogance over whatever it is they're trying to do, and it's just hard to get behind. And if you are on the opposite side of the aisle, the arrogance, to me, the people on the right who I feel like are there to grab your attention and become popular and become famous, those people, I just try to not follow them because I know that they're doing and putting out things to get my attention. That isn't why you're there. You have my attention. You work for me. Pay attention to me. And I don't mean that as a broadcaster. I mean that as a mom that's trying to make ends meet, working my tail off with my husband. Things like, for instance, what would be so transformative in my life is if the $8,000 in property taxes I'm paying on a very moderate, like you guys have been to my house. I'm very proud of my house, but in no way, shape, or form am I living in some sort of mansion or fancy home. Like I have a very nice house. In Illinois, we pay $8,000 in property taxes, and 70+% of that goes to the public school system, that my children are not taking up a seat, not using the resources, not taking up the teacher's attention, bringing the student to teacher ratio down because I send them somewhere else. And we live in a state specifically where they don't think that I have any entitlement whatsoever to those dollars that I'm spending, that everybody else is entitled to those dollars and my kids have no right to them. That is theft. It's theft. That's the type of thing I want. That's boring, though. That's policy minutia that the influencers of Congress, they're not talking about that. What are they talking about? Epstein files, slush funds to pay off people. Are those things that should be addressed? Yes, but come out with the names and tell us what it is. Crap or get off the pot, as they say. Do you know that phrase?
Yeah, except it's not crap.
I know. I can't say the other thing because Brendan Carr, the FCC chairman.
Do you think that there are people
he's kind of an activist
in the world who do not know the phrase crap or get off the pot?
The real one?
Yeah, the real one.
Brad, do you know that phrase?
Yes.
You know who wouldn't? Ethan.
You know what? I could see me not knowing it randomly, too.
I don't know.
I mean, I do know it. I'm just saying.
I'm from Hamel Warden. Those people know that phrase. I'm just wondering if it's suburban or urban.
Oh, I think that's everywhere.
Or maybe it's, I don't know.
There's pots everywhere.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think that calling a toilet a pot it's a stage. and I come from that. I don't use it, but it's used. I'll put it that way. All right. I don't know how, but we're going to transition to Joe Concha. We're not going to talk about pots anymore. I bet that's all we talk about anymore. Joe Concha next with us on the Annie Frey Show. So Todd Sivia, a Sivia Law. Have you called him yet? I hope so. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL. Get your will, your trust, your powers of attorney established once and for all. Why have you not done that yet? Well, there's probably a few reasons. You're wondering, gosh, can I afford it? I'll be honest. I don't know that you can afford not to, and that is the real deal. When you talk to Todd Sivia about establishing your estate plan and you understand how all of these different certifications and licenses that he has come together to really position you for the best possible estate plan, understanding all ins and outs of tax law. He has his real estate license, everything that you have. And if you have a little, you have enough to protect, folks. When you call 833-995-WILL, Todd Sivia is going to ask you the questions that you don't even know need to be answered. And you're going to be done in like less than 2 weeks with your closing documents. When you mention Annie, you call 833-995-WILL. He's going to waive that's first strategy session fee. It's just not going to have to pay it. 833-995-WILL, CiviaLaw.com.
Summer is on the way, or should I say the heat in St. Louis, it's on its way. Be here before we even know it. If you haven't had your air conditioners checked and set up and ready to go for this cooling season, or if you were told you might need a new one, or you just think this is the time of the year. This year is the time to just go ahead and replace it. Prices are down. 0% financing is available. It's still the best time to call me. Don't put it off. One easy number in Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600 in Missouri and Illinois, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Marie, is that you?
Oh, hi, Barb. How you doing?
Better now. Did you know we had a little health scare with Jeff?
Oh, no. What happened?
Well, he had been short of breath and was really tired a lot of the time. He just thought he was getting old and was out of shape, but it turns out it was heart valve disease.
How did you figure it out?
He finally went to the doctor, and she was able to listen to his heart and detected the problem. I didn't realize it, but heart valve disease is more common than you'd think. They were able to replace the valve, and he's feeling so much better now.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear that.
More than 5 million Americans are diagnosed with heart valve disease every year, but most people know nothing about the condition, and it can be deadly if untreated. That's why it's important to listen to your heart and ask your doctor if your symptoms may be due to heart valve disease or if you're at high risk. A message brought to you by Heart Valve Voice US. For more information about the symptoms and treatments for valve disease, go to heartvalvevoice-us.org.
The All Financial Sports and Local segment coming up in the 2 o'clock hour. Joe Concha coming up next right here on the Annie Frey Show. It is 1:33. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
JerryKelly.com.
25 years strong. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Is affecting people in both parties, that we both parties have a responsibility to address it. There should be a national commission, and we can look at concrete things. One, the role that social media is playing in amplifying the most sensational, outrageous content that sometimes incites violence. Second, looking at mental health issues. Third, looking at how we can have intervention when you have someone sick, like the person who was tried the attempted assassination on the president and his cabinet. How do we get earlier intervention? And finally, what are the standards of how we can all do better in our political rhetoric without violating the First Amendment? We want robust speech. People should be able to criticize me, but there's a difference between criticism and the incitement of violence.
So you have Ro Khanna, a California congressman, speaking right there about the both sides issues, suggesting a national commission to look into this. There's a difference between having rabid discourse where there is disagreement and the assassination culture that we have now found ourselves in, and it certainly looks like it's only going one side to the other. Let's talk to our friend Joe Concha.
Oh, what you know, Joe.
Joe Concha, Fox News contributor.
Joe Concha back with us. Thanks for being flexible with the weather yesterday. We're glad you can make it with us today here.
Is everything all right there? I hear tornado. You know, that's not here in Jersey.
I think we had like 2 or 3 tornado warnings in the span of our 3-hour show. So we just basically talked about looking out the window, and fortunately for our area, at least, everything. Do you guys get tornadoes in Jersey? No?
Once in a while, but
it's crazy.
They're not as big as the ones out there. Yeah, it's certainly not where I live near the city. So anyway.
That is our burden to bear here in the Midwest. I do want to talk about the White House Correspondents' Dinner, the obligatory both sides conversation that is happening once again after yet another assassination attempt on President Trump. And the left's immediate reaction in a lot of cases, a lot of high-profile leftists who used to be on television shows and now are all influencers, I guess, on podcasts. And they're all talking about, this could be staged. I mean, we're living in a crazy place in time right now. And the solution that a lot of people are offering now is, both sides could tone it down. What do you think about that?
There is no both sides here. It's I'll say 95-5 as far as left and violent rhetoric and 5% on the right, and nobody prominent as far as I can tell. Look, when you have somebody like Dan Goldman of New York, he once said that Donald Trump needs to be not voted out, eliminated. There is no other way to interpret eliminated outside of assassinate the guy, get rid of him. Rick Wilson, Lincoln Project co-founder, they're still going to have to put a bullet in Donald Trump. That's what he said after Trump began gaining in the polls after he announced he was running for president. The first time, remember Tim Walz said, oh, you get up in the morning, you're hoping to see some news. And this is when there were some false rumors out there that Trump was on his deathbed or was in bad health. That's obviously Walz hoping that he wakes up to see that President Trump is dead. J.B. Pritzker, your friend over there near Missouri, obviously Illinois, right?
Yes.
Never before in my life I have called for mass protest disruptions. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. Oh, gee, how should I take that? And then obviously what we saw on Friday night from Jimmy Kimmel, which he said, look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
So gross.
And then he has the audacity to, it's gross. And he has the audacity to go on the air last night and say, I was just talking about their age difference. Oh, you were? Oh, okay. So, Jimmy, where was your jokes about Joe Biden? Because there's about a 10-year age difference between Jill Biden and Joe Biden. Yeah, imagine if he said that expectant widow thing about Biden or about Obama, even worse. I mean, anybody for that matter. So
doesn't it matter,
this
Joe?
is now all justified.
Doesn't it matter, too, that the president is now, that we know of, this is the third assassination attempt on his life, and likely many other people who were in between the president and this shooter before he could have made his way into that room. These people, Jimmy Kimmel, they're making these jokes after the president has taken a bullet for his desire to be the president of the United States, to give the American people the opportunity to choose to have him be the president of the United States. They're incredibly coy and very disingenuous. When they make these jokes, they're like, oh, what are you talking about? They're shooting at the president. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, 3 times, like as you said, that we know about. There are threats every day. They're probably thwarted, or at least they're able to figure it out before it comes to fruition like it did on Saturday night. And I always think, Annie, that let's say Iran, and pretty probably easy to find, right? Find, 10 jihadists, right, that are out there that are willing to just sacrifice their own lives. What if 10 people rushed that room? You think one would have gotten through, 2, and then it's a turkey shoot from there. I don't know if you ever remember, you ever see the movie Inglourious Bastards with Brad Pitt?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that scene at the end where they lock the Nazis in that French theater, and then they just, kill them all.
Yes.
Like, that's basically what would have happened, because I've been to the White House Correspondents' Dinner. There's only a couple doors in and out of there, and if you're able to, seal them, you're stuck, right? Sure. I mean, it would have been so ugly. And there you have Hakeem Jeffries, right, House Minority Leader, saying we need maximum warfare against Trump. And then asked about it again yesterday, hey, should you dial it down with this maximum warfare thing? He goes, nope, I have no regrets, and I don't give a damn about your criticism.
Yeah.
So now it's just like at this point, they're not even pretending anymore they want Trump dead. They do want Trump dead, and they see the polls, including one that came out from Rutgers University last year, Annie, where 55% of those who say they vote Democrat say it would be somewhat justified if someone murdered Donald Trump for the good of the country. So Democrats see that, and they say, all right, let's embrace this whole assassination culture thing. Great.
Joe, I know you're raising kids. I'm raising kids right now.
Yeah.
Is this a different time than I know that we're only living in the time we're living in right now, but it's impossible for me to think about how this looks 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the road when my children are raising children. I don't know that we can steer the wheel and rip it back to get back in the lane. I don't really know what happens next.
No, it's normalized, this permission slip for violence. We saw it after Charlie Kirk. We saw that teacher north of you in Chicago, literally on video, putting a gun up to her neck and mimicking Charlie getting shot, and she wasn't even fired. Like, how do you not fire somebody like that? That person's teaching children, and she's celebrating Charlie Kirk being executed at Utah Valley University and leaving 2 very young kids behind for Erica Kirk to raise. And then Candace Owens is out there mocking Erica Kirk and saying that basically she was complicit after the fact in Charlie's death. I mean, this is all insane stuff. And I think the reason why that so many people are getting away with this, so to speak, like Joy Reid said that not 1, not 2, but all 3 of Trump's assassination attempts were staged, which, you could train somebody to hit somebody from 150 yards away in the ear with a bullet without taking off their head. That's totally planned. Yeah. It's just, you apply any common sense. It's because now people aren't working for anyone that could put the brakes on this stuff. right?
Mm-hmm.
So Joy Reid has her own little podcast, puts it out on the internet. It goes viral. She's happy. She's getting more clicks. Jim Acosta, same thing. Don Lemon, same thing. And then even if you're Jimmy Kimmel, well, ABC's run by, a girl named Dana Walden, who's best friends with Kamala Harris. So of course she's loving this stuff. He's never going to get suspended. And that's where we are. No guardrails at this point. No filter. Just, I guess it's just almost a civil war at this point. I'm not saying people are going to start picking up guns like the North and the South in 1861, but rhetorically, yeah, we're not going back to the days. Let's put it this way. Ronald Reagan, when he was shot at the Washington Hilton, by the way, in 1981, the first person to visit him in the hospital besides Nancy was Tip O'Neill, who was the House Speaker, and said, "God bless you, Mr. President. We're all praying for you." And O'Neill and Reagan used to go, have a drink after work just to try to iron out differences. And Newt Gingrich, Bill Clinton, same thing, got a lot done. That's never happening again, as far as I can see, at least from the Democratic side, where Hakeem Jeffries is their leader, and he's saying maximum warfare, and I have no regrets around saying that 2 days after the president was nearly assassinated again.
Yeah, you'd have to have a marquee turning point, no pun intended, in order to make enough people come together and say enough of that. And this is the one thing that I'm paying attention to, and you probably noticed this too in your conversations and everything that you're watching. We are hearing a lot from the left that are saying it's staged, or we're hearing it's a both sides issue. They're not saying, stop it. Don't do this. To the people who hate Donald Trump, knock it off. Don't do it. I don't hear anybody who speaks in a public place with some sort of, Democrat or leftist position to bring to the people's attention. I don't hear any of them just unequivocally saying, you need to knock this off and you need to knock it off right now. There's an excuse, which means they're not justifying it, but they are not calling for it to end.
Right. And Kimmel starts with that whole argument that you're making here, where he said last night, I think vile rhetoric should not happen in this country. But Melania, maybe talk to your husband first before casting stones. It's like, oh, God, enough already, dude. I mean, it's, again, we saw Jimmy Kimmel after Charlie Kirk was assassinated say that it was a MAGA person that carried it out. And then when we had, obviously, he was taken off the air by syndicators saying, we don't want to be a part of this garbage anymore. No, by the way, it's third place, and it loses a lot of money for ABC and Disney. And then just like this time we're seeing this time around, everybody in legacy media takes Jimmy Kimmel's side, right? He's just speaking truth to power. It's just a joke. Again, I would love to see the reaction if somebody ever made a joke like that about Michelle Obama and Barack Obama. That person will be off the air in about 5 minutes.
There are people in the streets. We know that. Last question. Josh D'Amaro is the new CEO of Disney. That he's like 4 to 6 weeks in to this new job. I'm not expecting Jimmy Kimmel to lose his job, but if, let's just for a second play out here, what would happen in the industry if Josh D'Amaro said, you know what, Jimmy Kimmel, we're not going to do this. We're going to go a different direction. We're going to either replace you or take your show off the air. What would happen if Josh D'Amaro, the new CEO, would take that tact and move in that direction?
There would be outrage. It would be Josh D'Amaro obviously is controlled by Trump, and Trump wants to censor all of his critics because, for 10 years, Trump gets hit every day, every minute. I think if he wanted to censor anybody, would have got around to that by now. But in the end, Josh D'Amaro would be doing his stockholders a big favor because, again, that show loses a lot of money. It's a distant third place. Greg Gutfeld, obviously, Fox News first place. And there would be initial backlash. And then from there, Jimmy Kimmel will be forgotten. He'll go do a podcast with the Don Lemons and the Jim Acostas of the world, I guess, and everything would be fine. But if I'm him, I would absolutely do that from a business perspective only, not from a censorship perspective. That's all I'm saying.
It's one action that Josh D'Amaro, the CEO of Disney, could do that would, in my opinion, incredibly impact the future of Disney in a huge way. It would just be a huge signal to, as you mentioned, the stockholders to begin with.
Yeah, either way, before we go, just got back from Disney.
Yeah.
And when a family of four costs $800 a day to do what's called the hopper, where you can hop from one park to the other, Epcot, Disney, Animal Kingdom, $800 a day, Annie.
I know.
I mean, we went for 3 days, and it's like, I don't know how a family of four who doesn't have, I have 3 jobs, my wife has 2 jobs, people just have one job and earn a decent amount. I don't know how you afford that. I just don't. It is. American Express is going to have a hitman coming after me. Yeah, go ahead.
They need to get their business back into the business of families, and I think on a broader scale, this country needs to get back in the business of families. And I would just love to see that company make a huge change. Thanks for being with us, Joe. It's good to talk with you.
It's coming. Thanks, Annie. Have a good day.
Take care. You too. Bye-bye. All right, let's take a quick break here. We're watching the People's House. It's as if they're setting themselves up here for a State of the Union address, but it's not a State of the Union address. King Charles has been invited to speak to Congress, and they are assembled in the room, and we're going to watch this and monitor it and see what might materialize here. So keep it on the Annie Frey Show. 97.1 FM Talk. We'll have coverage of that. And X's and Y's coming in 2:30. Guess who my guest is today? Mark Reardon going to join us for a little discussion about men and women. You're not going to want to miss this. I know I'm not. We'll be right back.
.1 FM Talk in Action is spotlighting Our Ladies Inn, providing safe shelter, care, and support for pregnant women and children facing homelessness. Since 1982, they've helped local families build stable, independent futures. Learn more at OurLadiesInn.org.
License number GL2500615.
Hey, it's good to hear you.
Hey, Dad, isn't it good to see ya?
Yep, but with smoke alarms, we need to hear them. If one alarm is downstairs, you might not hear it upstairs.
At school, everyone hears the fire alarm.
That's why we install hardwired smoke alarms that all go off together, just like school.
Smoke alarms done the right way.
Green is always grasser at grasserhomeservices.com.
After I came home from Iraq, I could still hear the booms. Makes it hard to be a good mom.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I'm Naomi Mathis, Air Force veteran.
DAV helps veterans get the benefits they've earned.
Thanks to DAV, I was able to begin to heal.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
My victory is being able to be here for my children.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're watching the House chamber where they are about to welcome the King of England in to speak. This is just kind of weird to see the King come address the People's House. So saying this a little bit off air and mentioned it as well to Fred Fleitz, who was on with us at the top of the hour to talk about what's going on in Iran. And an interesting discussion that was about how we can declare victory, claim peace, all that stuff. You can check on the Annie Frey Show podcasts to listen to that interview when we post it. I think it's incredible. You know, going to the State of the Union when you see the president speak in front of the joint Congress, all there in the House chambers. The Supreme Court shows up in some capacity, usually not all of them. The cabinet is present. It's just it takes all of these people together to represent power in our country. And I think that that's incredible. And the president of the United States is not allowed to deliver the State of the Union until he is invited to do so by the Speaker of the House. The president has to have an extension from the people in order to speak to the people. And, you know, knowing that the king is of England is coming to do that by invitation of the people is just historically, it kind of gives me goosebumps to think about that. So we're watching right now. Let's listen in. Can we turn this up here?
Dean of the Diplomatic Corps.
We never know who this is.
So now they are welcoming in, and the volume has gone away, and I don't know why. Do you have, it's all up over there? So they're welcoming in, it looks like, some people who might be in the party with the king or whatever. I guess this is just how this is going to go.
I am really looking forward to, and this is going to sound ridiculous because it is, at the end of this speech, somebody, and that somebody needs to be J.D. Vance, has to stand up and say on a microphone, the king has left the building. That has to happen.
Yeah.
And yet, will it? I don't know.
I don't know
because we don't have audio.
Why don't, I was going to say, will you pull that up so that maybe we can see it to see if it works on your computer? Do you think it's cool that he's speaking at this? Do you care? Or could you not care any less?
Well, I don't know really that I care about. It's weird because I kind of want to know just generally why he's doing this and what he's going to say. But I don't.
I care about it not because we're going to get to hear what the King of England has to say. I care about it. It almost feels, and yeah, we're 250 years into this, so I think we've proved our point over and over again. But it feels like, you know, you've paid off your mortgage, you got a great career, you got a great job, and you're inviting mom and dad to see how things are going. You're like, they're going pretty damn well.
I understand that. I will say that the part that intrigues me about this is that this isn't done. And so if the king has decided that now is the appropriate time to do something that isn't done, well, then that's significant in and of itself. So that's why I'm interested to see what his angle is, why he's doing it.
Well, we are going to watch and monitor it. It looks as though they're potentially going to take it on Fox as well. So keep it right here. We're not going to air the whole thing. I think it is important to understand. George comments on the YouTube channel, what power does the King of England actually have? I mean, he's really a diplomat of sorts. He, you know, there is a tradition and a history towards the throne that is important to those people who are within the authority or regality of the throne. That's not us. But it means a lot to people in Canada. You know, it means a lot to people who are in, you said Northern Ireland and Britain?
That's part of UK. Canada's actually not part of UK.
Well, I understand that. Yeah. Thank you. But the king is not over all of the United Kingdom, from what I understand.
I don't know the answer to that because he's the King of England, but I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Well, we're going to watch it, and we're going to at least bring you the key points, but maybe the speech, at least maybe the start of it. So you're going to want to keep it right here. The YouTube poll, do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe? Yes. Yes, but no U.S. compromise. Yes, U.S. must change course, or no? Brad, what do you think?
I'm a yes, but there shouldn't be any compromise. I think what the U.S. wants from its allies in Europe is reasonable demands. You know, fulfill your responsibilities to us as you expect us to fulfill our responsibilities to you. Allies help one another, and I think that it feels to me like Europe is treating us like a paid security guard, and I don't like that.
They don't pay.
Well, that's exactly. I mean, yeah, you're right.
I mean, that's Trump's problem.
But that's how they're treating us.
But I would say it's worse than treating us like a paid security guard. There's an sense of entitlement. What did I say to Katie McFarland? They're acting like petulant children or something like that. Bratty children. She goes, "You said it." I can't remember I can't remember what kind of like maybe dishonorable phrase I labeled all of Europe about. Sorry, guys. But she didn't deny it, and she was like, glad you said it. So, okay. Go vote and tell us what you think. Because there are a lot of you I know that would like it to be better, but you don't want to have to subsidize something that America's taxpayer dollars, you know, all the dollars that America spends, that comes from you first. And then it goes out into the abyss. I'd be very curious about the fraud that exists. Of course, we have that Minneapolis investigation that's taking place, a raid of sorts to try to get to the bottom of fraud that is happening there. Just lots to dive into. And when it comes down to money, you know, like Brad was saying, when we're providing so much security, for what? What do we get in return? We'll see what the king says. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
I'm getting older. Do I need to worry about falling?
Yes, you do. Every year, 1 in 4 people 65 and older will experience a fall, and many result in serious injury. The majority of falls happen at home, so take a look around. Replace bulbs and add lighting to help you see obstacles. Remove things that can make you trip. Fix uneven steps and floors, and install handrails in bathrooms and on stairs. Consider balance or strength training exercises, which can help with agility. Get your eyes and hearing checked regularly. Changes in your hearing can affect your balance. To learn more, please talk to your doctor about steps you can take to help prevent a fall. You can also visit aarpfoundation.org or MedicareMadeClear.com/falls. This message was brought to you by United Healthcare and AARP Foundation.
Point Pest Control, point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. Got a message from a friend yesterday. It says, Annie, I have ants. Tell me about Point Pest Control. Happy to connect my friends to Point Pest Control, who we use to keep our house pest-free. And ants, this is the season for ants. That moisture that is taking place outside, the temperature change. Those ants are looking for a place like your home and your kitchen. And as soon as you see one and you realize one quickly turns into like a billion, you want them gone. Those remedies that you might pick up at the supermarket, they're going to help you for maybe 24, 48 hours, and those ants are going to find their way back into your kitchen, and they're going to make you so mad. Become a quarterly service plan subscriber like I am, a premier service plan subscriber. And for quarterly payments, I get quarterly treatments, and my pets are safe, my kids are safe, we are safe, and the pests are gone. We don't have them in the Fry House, and it is 100% because of Point Pest Control. 636-798-0023 online. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
I'm probably okay to have one more drink before I drive home. I'm probably okay. I open the window to stay alert. Probably okay. I just popped some gum in my mouth.
Step out of the car, please.
I probably made a mistake.
Probably okay isn't okay when it comes to drinking and driving. If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A message brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
A former FBI director indicted again. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Not clear yet what charges James Comey is facing, but sources tell Fox it's in connection with a social media post.
Comey was accused of inciting political violence of an Instagram post that he had made a while back, in which he had said 86-47, 47 representing obviously the 47th president of the United States. President Trump, of course, a very outspoken critic of the former FBI director, and he had fired Comey during his first term.
Fox's Mark Meredith. Comey has said he saw shelves forming those numbers during a beach walk and assumed it was a political message, not a violent one. Comey had previously been accused of lying to Congress, but a judge ruled the federal prosecutor involved in that case was not legally appointed and tossed out the charges. Word of the new indictment comes just hours after a federal judge in New York allowed a lawsuit against the Justice Department by Comey's daughter to move forward. Maureen Comey is suing over her dismissal as a federal prosecutor, calling it unlawful. A U.S. soldier accused of using confidential government information to win money on a prediction market appears in federal court. Gannon Van Dyke pleading not guilty.
Mr. Van Dyke is an American hero, is somebody who is charged, unfortunately, with something that is not a crime.
Defense attorney Mark Garagos says they look forward to vindicating his rights. Prosecutors say Van Dyke helped plan and execute the operation to capture Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro and made more than $400,000 on bets about the ouster. Britain's King Charles set to address a joint meeting of Congress after a lavish White House welcome.
If they could see us today, our ancestors would
surely be filled with awe and pride that the Anglo-American Revolution in human freedom was never, ever extinguished.
President Trump earlier emphasizing a cherished friendship. America is listening to Fox News.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolaid spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/save. ethos.com/save. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
A fairly quiet Tuesday on our hands. Partly sunny skies going through the afternoon, but a secondary cold front rolling in will trigger a couple of showers, a couple of non-severe thunderstorms late this afternoon. 72. Some scattered showers, non-severe storms tonight. 50. Wednesday, sunny, nice, though cool. 68. 68 and sunny again on Thursday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Time to schedule your air conditioner service. Get not just your AC, but your entire HVAC system checked for $19 a month with the Preferred Partner Plan. And be ready for the first heat wave. AirComfortService.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. We're happy to be with you this afternoon. We're watching as the king is supposed to, 2 p.m., supposed to be speaking in front of Congress. So we're going to monitor that situation when he comes in. There's probably going to be, 3 minutes by the time he walks in to the building, clapping and whatever kind of, this is the 4th time I think I've said pomp and circumstance today, but there will be some of that. We're not going to play clapping on the air.
I love clapping on the air. It's just so nice. Everybody's happy. You know, it's like they're applauding you really more than even what's going on in the room.
Thanks for furthering the conversation. I really appreciate
You're
your help.
welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Are you done already?
No, well, yeah.
You're leaving
kinda.
at 2:30. He's got to get a follow-up for his your kidney stone situation.
Yep. We made the appointment right after the first one, so it's due now.
I really kind of understand you a little bit more now. I feel like there's been this journey of coming to get how you feel about your wife when she was going to labor with your second birth.
Yes.
And you really wanted it to be conveniently scheduled for you in the afternoon because you didn't want to be tired when your wife was in labor.
That's mostly accurate.
Yeah, I feel like you could schedule your appointments maybe not during the show, and that would be good for me.
Yeah, I understand.
Do you?
And I even
Are you on my side of this issue or yours?
I'm on your side.
You should be.
Because what I said, listen, doctor, listen. And I was actually not talking to the doctor. I was talking to the scheduler. But in the old days, you just talk to the doctor.
Let's just continue to pretend that any of this actually happened.
Okay. And I said, listen, doc, I got a show to do. And that show is over at 3. And they said, well, how about if we schedule it at 3? And I said, I don't think you understand the idea of a commute. So that was the latest they could give me was 3 o'clock.
Did you say, I don't think you understand the idea of a commute to the scheduler?
Most of what I just said is fictional. But I did tell them that, no, I really need to be on the show until 3.
On a scale of 0 to 10, how much did you advocate for you needing to be at your job until 3?
10.
10 out of 10?
I always do. That's why you don't see me do this kind of stuff very much. But they just didn't have it, so I had to take what they had.
So we'll allow it. And Tuesdays is X's and Y's days. So I have asked Mark Reardon to come in and fill in your spot.
I think that is dangerous.
I'm excited about it. And he's going to sit in your chair. So whatever happens is going to be on you.
So is Mark Reardon prepared to ask questions that...
Mark Reardon is prepared. He's a professional. Do you even know what you're talking about?
No, I don't, because I don't know what it's going to be like to hear Mark Reardon do
Mark
this segment.
Reardon is going to come into the X's and Y's segment, which is what we do every Tuesday at 2:30, and we do X's and Y's because there are two genders. We are different. We discuss our differences and try to understand each other more at the end. And Mark Reardon is going to come bring whatever Mark Reardon brings to the table at 2:30 in the segment. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I will literally be here for it, unlike you.
I could see him saying something that is a little bit eyebrow-raising.
Darn right. That's why I'm asking him to do it.
I know Mark Reardon. I know his show well enough to know that he's not afraid to shy away from the hard questions. And he might ask something that's a little bit brash.
I know. Are you going to tune in to listen?
I'll be listening. I'll be in the car.
Yeah. Here.
On the commute.
All right, let's listen to the welcome in here of the king. You've got Speaker Johnson and Vice President J.D. Vance.
Mr. Speaker, Their Majesties King Charles III and Queen Camilla.
Hooray! So that's the announcement. They're coming in. He's going to do that little walk that takes place up to the podium where the president, generally speaking, delivers remarks. He's standing there. Oh my gosh, he looks so much like my grandpa. I can't get over it. I love it. And he's got his wife, the queen, to his left. We've got Speaker Johnson behind him, J.D. Vance behind him, and a lot of applause. And I'm pretty sure they were listening to the show, and they were like, we're not going to let you hear the applause.
Yeah, that's right. Even though I advocated for it.
You know, it's kind of interesting to me that the Democrats will stand for the king.
This seems really weird. And they looked
I just
really
feel like
excited.
this is super off-brand for you people.
Oh, man.
You stand for the king, but you won't stand for the president.
What will the Meemaws say?
Slow clap for the Democrats, who you've been saying no kings, and I just don't really take you seriously anymore. Is that so?
A lot of Democrats in that room. They're all taking pictures and selfies and crap.
How many of those people are, I mean, they've literally been clapping for 90 seconds at least.
Yeah.
How many of these people are standing there going, who's going to stop clapping first? Come on, guys.
I can tell you one. That's Debbie Wasserman Schultz, because she sat down first.
I don't know. I mean, they're still clapping. There they are. Oh, nope, forget about it. Don't even worry about that.
Members of Congress,
Here we
I have
are.
the high privilege and distinct honor of presenting to you His Majesty Charles III.
Yay, more clapping. But muting. What is this coverage?
We just did that.
I know, but there's the presentation of him to the room, and now the presentation of him as a speaker. He is speaking right now.
This didn't include introducing Camilla.
Let's just see how he gets going and fires it off. We're not going to listen to the whole King speech. I want his fist in the air, and I want to know King's comment right off the top. Just one King, at least. Salute.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, members of Congress, representatives of the American people across all states, territories, cities, and communities. I would like, if I may, to take this opportunity to express my particular gratitude to you all for the great honor of addressing this joint meeting of Congress, and on behalf of the Queen and myself, to thank the American people for welcoming us to the United States to mark this semi-quincentennial year of the Declaration of Independence. And for all of that time,
we the people. And they're standing.
aren't you lucky?
Chuck Schumer likes it. He's clapping.
And for all of that time, our destinies as nations have been interlinked. As Oscar Wilde said, we have really everything in common with America nowadays, except, of course, language. So, ladies and gentlemen, we meet in times of great uncertainty, in times of conflict from Europe to the Middle East, which pose immense challenges for the international community and whose impact is felt in communities the length and breadth of our own countries. We meet, too, in the aftermath of the incident not far from this great building that sought to harm the leadership of your nation and to foment wider fear and discord. Let me say with unshakable resolve, such acts of violence will never succeed.
A bipartisan clapping.
Whatever our differences, whatever disagreements we may have, we stand united in our commitment to uphold democracy, to protect all our people from harm, and to salute the courage of those who daily risk their lives in the service of our countries. Standing here today, it is hard not to feel the weight of history on my shoulder, because the modern relationship between our two nations and our own peoples spans not merely 250 years, but over 4 centuries. It is extraordinary to think that I am the 19th in our line of sovereigns to study with daily attention the affairs of America. So I come here today with the highest respect for the United States Congress, this citadel of democracy created to represent the voice of all American people to advance sacred rights and freedoms. Speaking in this renowned chamber of debate and deliberation, I cannot help but think of my late mother, Queen Elizabeth, who in 1991 was also afforded this signal honor and similarly spoke under the watchful eye of the Statue of Freedom above us. Today, I am here on this great occasion in the life of our nations to express the highest regard and friendship of the British people to the people of the United States. Now, as you may know, when I address my own Parliament at Westminster, we still follow an age-old tradition and take a member of Parliament hostage, holding him or her at Buckingham Palace until I am safely returned. These days, we look after our guests rather well, to the point that they often do not want to leave. I don't know, Mr. Speaker, if there were any volunteers for that role here today. As I look back across the centuries, Mr. Speaker, there emerge certain patterns, certain self-evident truths from which we can learn and draw mutual strength. With the spirit of 1776 in our minds, we can perhaps agree that we do not always agree, at least in the first instance. Indeed, the very principle on which your Congress was founded, no taxation without representation, was at once a fundamental disagreement between us, and at the same time a shared democratic value which you inherited from us. Ours is a partnership born out of dispute, but no less strong for it. So perhaps in this example, we can discern that our nations are in fact instinctively like-minded, a product of the common democratic, legal, and social traditions in which our governance is rooted to this day. Drawing on these values and traditions, time and again, our two countries have always found ways to come together. And by Jove, Mr. Speaker, when we have found that way to agree, what great change is brought about, not just for the benefit of our peoples, but of all peoples. This, I believe, is the special ingredient in our relationship. As President Trump himself observed during his state visit to Britain last autumn, the bond of kinship and identity between America and the United Kingdom is priceless and eternal. It is irreplaceable and unbreakable.
So you've been listening to King Charles speaking there in Congress with the bipartisan cheering from, it is wild to me that the thing that actually has brought Congress together is a king. But here we are. I think it's nice to listen to what the king is saying there. I think it's, we could listen to the whole speech, but I don't think, I particularly don't want to listen to the whole speech here. Will he have suggestions? Is it flattery? I think there's an acknowledgement there. There was a by Jove, which I think makes it authentic.
Mm-hmm. That was cool.
By Jove to me is exactly what you would say if you were impersonating, if you were doing your voice, which I could do a voice that is you doing the voice that is these British
I didn't even
people.
know by Jove was a real thing. I thought it was just a stereotype thing.
I just think that before we take a break and get into Ethan Sports and Local, we have to go to our on-the-ground coverage from 2018, where we sent Captain Obvious to cover Brexit.
This just in from Captain Obvious.
Thanks, Annie. I'm live here outside the British Parliament building. You can tell because of all the British people walking by saying British things.
How can you have any pudding if you don't eat?
I just spoke with an assistant to Theresa May, who's the Prime Minister here, which I'm told is a lot like our American presidency, but different. Anyway, May, after not getting her version of Brexit passed and almost losing her seat as Prime Minister, has decided to take a different approach.
Like a rebranding of sorts? What's she thinking in place of Brexit?
The main one she seems to be slipping into interview answers and seeing if anyone notices are common weaving, which is a combination of the words Commonwealth and leaving, and depucart, which is a combination of UK and depart. Neither one has so far taken hold, so I'm told May is keeping a couple of others in her quiver as well, including Great Briscape and I'm out of here. Back to you, Annie.
It's amazing that you did that in 2018 and worked your way on to the show.
Uh-huh.
You were not working for the show when you did that.
No, I was working here. I don't even think I was on Glover's show yet. That was when I was part-time.
This is uploaded. The date is December 18th, 2018.
Yeah.
Remember when we talked about, well, I don't know that we did, but Brexit was talked about a lot.
Yeah, what the heck happened with Brexit?
I think it came, it went again. I think it was Bromata here.
I don't think it ever happened.
It did. And then they elected other people with different things in mind, and it just kind of, like you said, Bromata here. We'll be right back. Matt Hayes at Home Shield Foundation Repair is ready to help you fix your watery, leaky basement. That's such a bummer. I know. 314-271-9900. My husband and I, in our first home, had to do a basement waterproofing of sorts, and it was necessary. It's not something that you can put off and hope it resolves itself. That doesn't fix itself. So when you hire a company to come take care of a problem like that, you definitely want to ensure that you've got somebody who's trustworthy, who certainly has the experience, the great reviews to give you the confidence that they're going to do the job right for you the first time. But also when you meet them, you want to know that they're your people. Matt Hayes, he's one of you. 314-271-9900, hardworking, family-owned local business. Home Shield Foundation Repair is ready to come take a look at what you're dealing with right now and bring the very, very best opportunity to get that basement waterproofed once and for all to your doorstep, into your basement, and get the problem solved. 314-271-9900, HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Lockridge, and I'm the host of a new podcast from Odyssey called Family Lore.
In this podcast, I'm going to have people on to tell unusual and sometimes far-fetched stories about their families.
I've heard my whole life that she invented the margarita.
And then we're going to investigate those stories and find out how much of it is true.
He gets a patent 1 month before the Wright brothers. Oh my God.
Please follow and listen to Family Lore, an Odyssey podcast, available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve, or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Check it out. Sports and local.
Ethan and the Giant Peach.
So it's Ethan's Sports and Local time, of course, brought to you by All Financial. There's a lot happening in the world right now when you pay attention to the like global scene with Iran. Big deal. The local scene domestically, more Trump assassination attempts. There's just so much happening right now that all of those things that we have prioritized when we had the campaign in 2024, elected Donald Trump, America first, of course. When you look at this relationship between the United States and the King of England here speaking in front of Congress, I just am curious, if you listen to what he said right there, how you feel about the relationship right now between the United States and these European countries, and that's why we're asking it to you on the YouTube live chat poll. Do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe? Go to youtube.com/@AnnieFrey. In our live broadcast is the live chat, and that's where your vote comes in. Hi, Ethan. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you, Annie Frey?
Doing just fine.
I am great because, well, I'm always a little bit better when we're coming off of a good Cardinals win.
Yeah.
You know, it seeps life into me, and last night certainly did that. The Cardinals 4-2 winners over the Pittsburgh Pirates were on the verge of losing their 5th straight game. They got swept by the Seattle Mariners over the weekend. That was a mess of a series, and it looked like that the struggles were going to continue. In fact, even through 6 innings of play yesterday, the Pirates had a perfect game against the Cardinals. So you're thinking, well, here we go again. And in the 9th inning, Pedro Pajes with 1 out, a solo home run, and then J.J. Weatherholt making his homecoming to the Pittsburgh area, hits a solo home run, ties up the game at 2. The Cardinals would put a couple more base runners on, and Jose Fermin would double down the line to score 2 more, and the Cardinals would hold on and win by a final of 4-2 last night. That was a fun baseball game, and certainly a win that the Cardinals needed.
Again, they make you watch all 9 innings.
They certainly do. And, you got a good outing from Dustin May last night. It overall was a good baseball game, and the direction in which the team was going, they certainly needed that. So the Cardinals will be back at it again this evening, 5:40 first pitch against the Pirates. Kyle Leahy is starting on the mound for St. Louis. The Pirates have still not announced who will be starting for them. They had a bullpen start yesterday, so it's kind of interesting that we don't know who's going to be starting for them today as well. And just a heads up, they're going to be moving to a 6-man rotation later in the week. Hunter Dobbins will be making his debut. He was a part of the Wilson Contreras trade from the Boston Red Sox, so that'll be something to keep an eye on.
Let me ask you a quick Cardinals question.
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about trades. Are there any Cardinals that we traded away, didn't sign, whatever? Are there anyone that are going away right now and just having an absolute season so far?
Yeah, actually, there's a couple that are off to a pretty good start. Brendan Donovan was off to a great start. He was hitting the best of anyone, and he unfortunately got put on the injured list.
That is a continuation of being here, though, right?
He had been banged up.
No, not the injury. I'm talking about people. It seems like people. We've lost some big names who have gone other places.
You're talking about people that struggled in St. Louis but are having success elsewhere.
And now they go elsewhere, and it's like, and World Series MVP.
No, not entirely. Donovan played well here. Contreras hit very well here. They're both hitting well. Sonny Gray is on the injured list right now, so he hasn't been able to pitch that much.
I haven't heard any names that are like, what were we doing letting that guy go?
Well,
like everything, all of the sense of officially fully pot committing to a pot, but different pot. Pot committing to we're going to rebuild.
Yeah.
And we're gonna farm and all of that. You know, it just seems like, we try to outsmart ourselves and then we get rid of somebody and then maybe there was just a chemistry thing here or whatever. I haven't heard any names that we let go make me want to face palm.
Yeah, it's because the style of player in which they were trading, most of them were veteran guys, aging guys, that it just didn't make sense for the direction the team wanted to go to have that style of player anymore, although we do miss them. Nolan Arenado has been hitting the cover off the ball the past week and a half or so, but even then, with how it's not like he's a guy that the Cardinals are regretting trading.
Well, you combine that there is no huge or series of huge unfound success here that is now happening when these people find other ball clubs, and we're winning.
Yeah.
So
winning for now. And there's no guarantee that's going to continue, but even if it doesn't,
there's never a guarantee
that
you
still can live with
There's never a guarantee, but just to the initial point that I made, you have to watch the whole ball game to know who's going to win a Cardinals game these days.
And that's fun.
Which means it's entertaining.
Makes it fun. It certainly does. So we continue on with sports and local here. It is sponsored by All Financial. Let's go ahead and talk about a couple of bills that Governor Mike Kehoe is going to be signing in pretty soon here. First one involves anti-Semitism protections. This was the bill includes adopting the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's work definition of anti-Semitism. It requires Missouri public schools, K through 12, charter schools, district, all the schools basically, to treat anti-Semitic harassment and discrimination like any race-based discrimination under, I believe that is title, I believe that's VI. Anyone know the Roman numeral? That's not
VI
Title 9, is it?
6.
6, okay, thank you. And then it also establishes a formal complaint and accountability process to ensure Title VI concerns are investigated and addressed. Another one involving cannabis regulation, HB 2641, will be aligning the state's definition of hemp with the new federal definition, bringing the regulation of hemp-derived cannabinoid products under existing marijuana regulations, requires non-licensed entities to discontinue the manufacturing or sale of hemp-derived cannabinoid products as well. And then another one here of note, the last one I'll note, HB 2934 highlights St. Louis Regional Authorities. It merges the St. Louis Regional Sports Authority and the St. Louis Regional Convention and Visitors Commission under a 15-member Regional Visitors Commission. So a couple of things going on that Governor Kehoe has been signing into effect over the last couple of days. Do you want one more, Annie, or are you good?
Can you do a quickie?
Yeah, I can do a quickie here real quick. St. Louis University.
It's the only way to do it.
Let's have a quickie.
St. Louis University
You just
has
can't not say it.
elected to drop its men's and women's tennis programs.
It's sad.
Effective immediately, according to a university announcement. This is the first time since, I believe I saw 2006, that the university has discontinued a sport when it ended the men's and women's golf program. So there's no other plans for SLU to be discontinuing any other sports at the time, but the men's and women's tennis programs at SLU are no more.
That's too bad. Anything to add, Ryan?
I'm just going to miss SLU tennis.
Hmm.
You know, you guys know how much I talk about it off air.
I figured that would hit you hard.
And now you brought it sort of into this world instead.
I'm
Now
sorry.
Sort of have to.
You know, I tried to put it off.
So
It was
mad he's
just
gonna
too
leave.
big.
Yeah, that's right. I'm out of here.
No, Ryan,
Bye.
please,
Goodbye.
Ryan, please.
Don't you feel, Ethan, that he just doesn't prioritize our show, like even over his health? He should, absolutely.
Yeah. And, well, number one, you always know what's number one in my life. And that's SLU tennis. Number two, my health. Number
Can't
three,
work
the
under
show.
these conditions.
Number four, my wife and kids.
We might need to have an
Ethan-
off-air conversation about.
Ethan, we're about to do
you're
X's
lining
and
those.
Y's with Mark Reardon. What do you think about that? You work with Mark Reardon.
Get ready.
Get ready. Are you going to be in here?
I will certainly try to be as much as possible.
You're in charge of him.
What? You think anyone is in charge of Mark Reardon besides Mark Reardon?
First thing when Mark comes in here, I'm going to say, Ethan's in here to be in charge of you and manage you. How's that going to go?
He'd probably say, well, I'm used to it. I like to define myself as Mark Reardon Zen.
Yeah? I know you are. You're an anchor point for him.
I like to be his calming presence, and sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Well, Mark Reardon will be in with us for X's and Y's when we return, where we navigate the differences between men and women, the two genders. And we'll ask questions and we'll get some answers, and Lord knows what's about to happen next. I'm super pumped for it. Stay right here.
This is Congressman Bob Andre. Americans demanded border security, and House Republicans delivered. According to the Department of Homeland Security, for 10 consecutive months, U.S. Customs and Border Protection has reported 0 illegal aliens released at the border. I'm proud to have worked with the Trump administration to secure our southern border and uphold our immigration laws, and will keep fighting to advance strong policies that protect Missourians and keep America safe.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Don't miss a baseball showdown at Busch Stadium when Shohei Ohtani and the LA Dodgers roll into the Lou May 1st through the 3rd. Kick off the weekend with Friday Night Live and a must-have short-sleeve hoodie giveaway. Saturday brings a Mason Wynn bobblehead celebrating his Gold Glove Award. Then Sunday features a sleek blade collar shirt giveaway. Big names, big matchups, and big giveaways all weekend long. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotion.
This is Mason Wynn. Get your tickets at cardinals.com.
The 1-2, and that's grounded up the middle. Diving play, Mason Wynn to his feet. He throws, he got him!
What's up, Cardinals fans? Mason Wynn here. On Saturday, May 2nd, when we face the Dodgers, you can take home the Mason Wynn Gold Glove bobblehead presented by the Shane Company. It's got my chain, my first gold glove, my whole look, just how I rock it. Plus, a few rare all-gold baubles will be randomly mixed in for 500 lucky fans. This is one you won't want to miss. Get your tickets now at cardinals.com/promotion.
Did you know replacing old vinyl windows with more vinyl windows might not be the best choice? Hi, it's Kim, and I'm here to tell you about Infinity from Marvin Windows, because these fiberglass windows, they're energy efficient, they're beautiful, and they're custom built to fit your home perfectly. The team at Lakeside Renovation and Design just makes the process so easy. I love the fact that they even offer a lifetime workmanship warranty. Look, if you're tired of drafts, high energy bills, or maybe hard to open windows, now's the time to upgrade. Visit windowsbylakeside.com to schedule your free consultation today.
Hey, it's Mark Cox, and if you're still looking for the perfect Mother's Day gift, I've got an idea. Head to Hot Tubs of St. Louis. They're having a huge Mother's Day sale. A hot tub isn't just a gift, it's relaxation, better sleep, stress relief, and a backyard upgrade the whole family will love. I'll be live on site Saturday, May 9th from 11 to 1 at Hot Tubs of St. Louis, 5030 Griffin Road, just south of 270 and Tesson Ferry. Come by, say hi, and find Mom the gift she really wants.
The YouTube live chat poll, Brad, go ahead and please hand me the YouTube live chat poll. Thank you very much. Is, do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe? We have 4 options here. Yes, yes, but no. U.S. compromise. Yes, the U.S. must change course, or no. We're going to be giving those results in about 15, 20 minutes or so, so be sure to vote on the Annie Frey Show YouTube channel if you have not already. The time is 2:34. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From the gateway to the airwaves. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative. X's and Y's.
All right, so as I was saying a little bit earlier in the show here, Ryan Wiggins had to go to a doctor appointment, and he did his best to make it as late in the show as possible. So Ryan has left the building, and for X's and Y's today, where we talk about the differences between men and women, those two genders that we have a guest in, and we're going to basically decide if Mark Reardon is a better fit for the segment than Ryan Wiggins. Mark?
I think the answer will be no, because I'm ill-prepared this afternoon to
You've
take
been a man
this
your whole
spot.
life.
So I have been a man my whole life.
Answer questions as a man.
I think so. I think I can answer the questions. I'm just not prepared to ask the questions. But Ethan seems to have his thinking cap on today.
I told Ethan I was going to bring you in and say that Ethan is in charge of managing you here and see how you react to that.
I'm fine with that, actually. I might very well need that right now, so I'm cool with it. Ethan?
Well, let's start out. Brad always has a lot of questions. And if you folks have questions that you would like to send us, you can text them to us at 314-241-9797. Maybe Ethan can look over where Ryan had questions coming in on the text line. line. And also send them to the Annie Frey YouTube live chat. Brad, let's start with you.
Okay, so when girls are car shopping, what are the 3 most important things that they look for when buying a car?
Engine size. Does it have one?
Does it have one? Yeah.
Just take your word for it. I mean, I would say typically
color's got to be number one for women, right?
Not for me.
Really?
No? Tech
is important.
Tech.
Yes.
And it's not like I want personally, and I'm kind of a techie a little bit, but I want the things. I want the bells and the whistles that make my time that I spend in the car very convenient and very comfortable.
I agree.
Because, you know this as a parent, you spend a lot of time in the car. So
Yes.
I actually care more about the interior color than I do the exterior color.
Yeah, that's interesting, because look, you said engine. I that's one of my choices because I like fast cars. But I had a Lexus about 6 years ago. It actually was the one that was stolen from my driveway, and we got it back. But it was a great vehicle. I can't remember the make and model right now, but the technology was literally about 12 years old. Lexus, and they must have thought that their customers didn't care. Well, I was a customer that cared. Now, since that time,
12-year-old Lexus technology still pretty decent?
No, it was terrible. I mean, it was awful. It was like my wife would tell you because it was her car, and I kind of got it from MasterCars Inc. as a used car. But I'm just telling you, we liked everything except for the tech, and then it got stolen. But outside of that, I did. So I get it what you're saying with the tech because
I want convenience with my phone, and one that's going to make my phone sound like I'm not
right.
Windows down, everything sounds terrible in the car. That I want a really nice sound system.
And I haven't. That's important to me, too.
I really want a nice sound system. And then, outside of that, I think it's interior color. I've got black interior on the van that I have right now, and I love my minivan. I drive a Pacifica. I love it. I hate the black interior. It shows everything.
Oh, really? All the hair and everything?
Well, just any sort of dirt. The kid, it's like to have kids in the back of your car. It's just always messy anyway.
I went to hair because of dogs because I carried the dog.
I just thought you were making a comment
about
No.
See, that was unfair. that was I was thinking about my situation.
Yeah, well,
Sorry.
I think that's it. What are the 3 top things then for you guys, men? I know you're a gearhead, Brad, so you're probably gonna care more about what's under the hood than inside the car.
It's going to sound really weird, but it's like engine handling. I like to feel connected to the road. So you guys are looking for comfort. I don't necessarily want to be so insulated from what's going on the road that it just feels like I'm riding on a cloud or something like that.
Oh, I just came up with the third thing. I don't want to hear anything outside.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah, I want that cabin to feel like it's outside of everything.
I don't want to feel disconnected. I want to feel like I'm sitting in the car, which sounds weird instead of on it. So I want the seating to be kind of low. But I like tech, that stuff doesn't matter to me.
Really?
Yeah. Like Porsche makes cars where they don't even have door handles. It's just like a strap that you can pull up and it unlock it from the inside. That's cool with me. None of that matters because I'm not in the car to listen to my radio or anything like that. And if I do, I usually put a different radio and a sound system in it anyway, which is better than anything they ever offer factory.
Maybe in some cars that would be true. I don't know. See, I have an interesting experiment with this right now because I was rear-ended a couple of weeks ago and it wasn't serious damage, but I took it to the body shop and they gave me a Hyundai. What's it called? Santa Fe.
Yeah.
So I've never had one of those, and it's different technology. And I'm trying to figure out there's buttons instead of gear shifts. So it's really not something I'm gonna. And I'll probably have to have that car for like a month because it'll take so long for mine to get. And my car's not even that damaged, but it will take that long no matter what.
Ethan, if you're shopping for a car, do you care about things? I really another one. Maybe this goes without saying for everybody, but price.
Yeah, like as someone that is an associate producer, price is probably number one for me right now. It kind of limits what I can, really be picky with. I'm trying to think of in my first 5 cars. What things have actually mattered to me besides does it drive and mileage? Obviously, mileage is an important one. But I'd like to imagine that eventually the most important thing for me will be the style of the car. I want to have a sharp looking car. But then also after that, probably the tech, the comfortability. But at this point, mileage is extremely important, being able to find a good deal and hopefully finding something that's going to be reliable, that is going to last me a decent chunk of time. I have had some pretty unfortunate luck when it comes to cars. In my, let's see, how long I've been driving for 10 years now. 5 cars. I feel like that's a lot of cars
in a
for,
short period
for 10
of time,
years. So yeah, I would say price is number one, but eventually I think just a sharp looking car is what I desire most.
Okay, I'm going to ask a question now of you guys because this is a story that is a big story right now on the social media area. There's a Cleveland, maybe Tampa baseball game. Have you seen this story? This guy in the outfield, baseball team, I don't even know who was hitting, whatever. They hit a home run, maybe left center, left field.
Yes.
And we've got the video up here, and I'm showing you, there's this guy right here who's running to catch the ball. He drops it. It falls up the stairs, and there's this little girl there, and this man wrestles the ball away from this kid, holds it up, walks back over, across the aisle, over into his section. And this girl is sitting now. Of course, the I guess it was at Cleveland. They made it right. The staff brought her out. I think it was the broadcaster guy for the network. They saw this happen. They bring her out a ball. The mom posted after the game that the guy had so much was being shamed so much for what he did that later he brought the ball back and gave it to her. But she ended her post on social media saying, "Thank you, everybody, for your support, and thank you to my husband for not catching a felony." So I want to ask you guys, in this instance, does this man who runs and takes this ball, because listen, you live your whole life and you don't get a home run ball. You catch the ball.
Or a foul ball.
For sure. You catch the ball in your hands and it falls out of your hands and bounces away. If there's a kid going in, does it have to do with being a man to not need that ball? Is his manhood in question for what he did here? And also, if you're the husband in that situation, how does a real man handle this situation?
Well, Ethan, you want to answer the question for the way I would answer it, because you know what would happen to me.
What? The felony?
Yes, the felony.
Mark Reardon
But
pouncing.
maybe I'm an outlier here. I would give it to anyone. I wouldn't care at all. I have no interest in a foul ball. If I would catch one, it'd be cool, but I'd give it to a kid, a grandma, anyone.
You still get the story of catching the ball.
Yeah, I mean, balls, look, I have signed balls by Hall of Famers in my basement that are just literally in a cabinet. Sometimes I give them, there's a little girl next door that plays softball. I've given, some Ozzie Smith balls to her, so they don't mean anything to me, or autographs. I would give them all away.
Is that because you're a good guy and it doesn't mean anything
No,
to you?
it's not because I'm a good guy.
Is it because, is there part...
This guy, come on, Annie. Come on.
Ethan, is it because there is a manhood thing about how you handle that situation, especially if there's a child involved?
Yeah, maybe. I would always defer to the kid. I would always hope that the kid would get it before, because when my boys were little, this was in Milwaukee when Miller Park was just starting. We would go in the outfield where the bullpens were, and we'd get one thrown up every once in a while. And I just I didn't care at all. But there are adults that really care about these things. And they want to show off their memorabilia.
Ethan?
I would argue that it is more of playing the man card to be able to give it to the kid. I think that shows a mature guy, and not to say that that can't be a thing for women either, but I think that in general, competition tends to brew and I gotta get it with men. I think we tend to see guys being more aggressive trying to get baseballs at games than women.
I completely understand a man going in and going for it, and then at the end being like, "Oh my gosh,
yes,
take this ball."
Yeah.
Like
it's
not being able
like,
to restrain yourself initially.
Exactly.
But then immediately being like, "Where is a child that I can give this ball to?"
It is the immediate urge of, there's a ball in the air, I have to get it. Yeah. It's a real thing. But then once you get it, and once you have the satisfaction of, hey, I got it, do your thing, show it off, take your quick picture, and then give it to a kid, because it's going to mean a lot more to a little 8-year-old and their impact of being there. They're going to remember that a lot more than you.
I'm not defending the guy, but I will say this. I do think maybe there's a difference between the home run and the foul ball. Mm-hmm. But again, I still think you should have done the right thing.
Maybe especially depending on the game and the situation
that's true
as well.
Too. Yeah.
I mean, is that ball in your hand in some certain circumstances could be worth 6 figures plus.
That's what happened with the father and son team last year, right?
Yeah, for the World Series.
Caught 2 balls, and I think they did quite well for themselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But in this one, didn't the guy attempt to catch it, drop it, and it went to the feet of the girl?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He wasn't even good at being a man.
At that point, I get it. Running down the aisle, you open, you throw your hands up, that ball hits your hands, and you drop it, and it lands at the feet of a little girl, I'm not fighting the little girl to pick the ball up off the ground.
No, I agree.
I'm not doing that.
I agree.
Going for it, catching it, giving it to a little kid, agree with you guys 100%.
Should this guy
on
be
that.
publicly shamed?
I don't know. I mean, at this point,
the fact
let
that
him.
Yes?
Yes.
By the dad for sure.
I'll say this.
Is it our job to make sure that people know what this guy's face looks like and be like,
No,
he
that's
sucked?
over the top.
He did give the ball back at the end of the game.
You remember the mom last year in Philadelphia?
Yes, we
Do you
talked
remember
about that.
situation? We both talked about this
man,
on
yeah.
air when guy got a ball, it like bounced off of a mom's hands or something, and it rolled right to this guy. Picks up, and mom stomps over to him, and
A
starts
whole
screaming
section
in his
over.
face, and
Yeah.
he's like, it jumps, it startles him. It was a dad of a kid, and he was so startled that eventually he just gave the ball back.
Oh, I do remember that.
And everyone freaked out about it. It went mega viral. When kids are involved, it's just different. It's just different, in my opinion. And guy or girl, regardless,
so
it goes.
if that ball falls there and it falls into a woman's hands who is just standing right there, it's a 25-year-old female. Are you wrestling that ball away from her? Don't ask me if she's hot.
I was going to ask that.
No, I'm looking at all three of you, and
How
Ryan's
hot?
not
How
here.
hot is she?
She's
Yeah,
a
what
dime.
are we talking about here?
If she's a dime, then I am fighting for the ball just to be able to give her the
Get
ball.
the ball, write your
Just to
number
be able to
on
say,
it,
like,
here you
hey,
go.
here you go. I got this for you. You know,
Wink, wink.
You can certainly be smooth with it.
I don't know if that would be that smooth.
I ain't fighting her for
He's
it.
married. He doesn't need moves
Yeah, no
anymore.
kidding. All right, well, let's take a quick break here, Mark. You can stay if you want to. We'll take you into your show if you got work to do to prep. We understand that as well. A few more X's and Y's when we return here on the Annie Frey Show. Don't forget to vote in the poll. Do you want improved relations between the United States and Europe? We'll be right back. Stewart's American Mortgage and that bagel loan is waiting for your phone call. Such a smart phone call to make. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. If you're like me and you're of the millennial generation, guess what? You can text him. That's great too. 314-324-4440. The bagel loan's a new mortgage or mortgage refinance, even a cash out refinance that you can get that comes along with no dollars in closing costs. Catchy name for a loan that has $0 in closing cost. A bagel looks like a zero, and hence we have the bagel loan. You can Google bagel loan to find out more information and get connected to Stewart's American Mortgage. But I want to remind you, as a customer myself, 2 times of a bagel loan refinance in my home. It's a right move to make, a good, smart call to make. And if you've got a lender that you think you might want to use, just get a second opinion and potentially save thousands of dollars and not having to pay those closing costs in the end. Call or text 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Google the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
What's happening now
He appears to reference a motive.
is happening here.
He writes this quote, administration officials, they are targets.
It doesn't happen to people that don't do anything. We're going to continue to do a great job.
97.1 FM Talk.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Tony LaRussa here. Has your loss of energy and weight gain thrown you a curveball in your relationship? If so, go see my friends over at Victory Men's Health. Discreet first-class professionals will help you hit those curves out of the park. VictoryMen'sHealth.com. That's VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Annie Frey is St. Louis conservative.
All right, let's wrap up a little X's and Y's here. We've snagged Mark Reardon from his office where he's prepping like crazy for 3 o'clock when he takes over here on 97.1 FM Talk. And I asked Ryan Wiggins for a question if he wanted to ask one of the room while he was gone. So this one, I'm going to piggyback on it. He said, what the heck, does nesting happen to everybody, even guys? Nesting, the question I have for you is, do you really appreciate, first of all, in your homes, respectively, do you have a woman in your house who's making the house a home? All the little touches and all the little things, maybe the extra throw pillows or the candle scents and the matching towels in the bathroom. Maybe you guys are the ones picking that out in your home. Maybe she is. If she is, do you appreciate it?
It's me, actually.
You're the hand towel guy?
I'm pretty much, yes. The home decor guy. I'm the home decor guy.
What kind of things?
Not completely. Well,
how do you make your house a home?
Well, in the house that I'm in right now, it was bigger than the previous houses. So I went out I used to do this during the week because I worked in the afternoon. I would go to furniture stores, try to find deals, clearance items. I put them all in my city garage, which I shouldn't have done because they could have been stolen. But I'm I like buying clothes for the kids. I buy clothes for my daughter, although she's getting independence now. And it's not that my wife doesn't have a knack for it. She actually has a better knack for arranging things. I have a good eye, and then she may arrange it differently.
So you see things you like, and then you kind of collaborate on.
It's a little teamwork there, yes.
So it's not just a female thing in your house?
No, not at all.
What about you, Ethan? Okay, I got your answer.
Yeah. I would say that there is one room in our place that I have total control of and care about how it looks, and it is my sports memorabilia room.
What are you doing
guest
there?
room / office.
Steal baseballs from little girls so you can put them on little shelves?
No. That is not what I do in our guest bedroom.
Those are rightfully mine.
I wouldn't call it theft at all.
I would just say that I am constantly on the lookout for what can I add to
So you
make
get that
room
space.
cooler. Yes.
What about
but
the rest
she
of the
also
house?
buys into it. She loves it, which I really appreciate that she is all in on like making it as cool as possible. And
Who organizes what's on the walls in your house, the rest of your house?
Usually it's Hannah, my wife, saying, this goes here, I want this to look like this, and then I help with the execution
You
of
say
that.
yes, dear.
Pretty much.
You know who's got
Mostly
a knack?
because I don't care.
Who's developing a real knack for this as she gets a little older is my daughter. And I'm being serious about this.
And
So
you
she
see-
just
you can
turned
tell.
11. Yeah, because she, I used to help her do the things in her room, and she likes to rearrange things now, and she's got a good eye for it. So, and she loves to shop. That's the other problem. She's got a shopping problem, Annie.
How,
Wonder
what
She
are
got
you
that
telling
from
me?
me.
Wonder where she got that
got
from.
that from me.
So when you say you're going and procuring items, are you like thrifting? Are you?
I'm looking for good deals.
I like
not
to
as-
do both.
Yeah, maybe, but not as much thrifting. But I would have these rounds of these furniture stores. This goes back a while, and I mean, I made some really good. I would see something, and then I'd maybe wait to see if it was going to go further. There's like a little sweet spot there.
Uh-huh.
I don't even know if you'd be able to do that now because so much of this stuff. This was probably 10, 11, 12 years ago. Everything's done online now. There's not as many furniture stores. But
Yeah.
I like doing the shopping for stuff
I like
that.
doing looking for great deals like that, but I also like going to estate sales and that type of thing to see what kind of unique pieces that you couldn't get somewhere else and trying to put them together. I'm definitely that person in our house. What about you, Brad?
It's kind of a back and forth. It's somewhere in between Ethan and Mark. Because my wife does most of the decorating. My job is to make sure things don't get too pink, too soft.
Why? What happens then?
Whoa. Listen up, Terry. This is getting
Yeah,
a little bit too
it's got to
feminine
look
for
like
my
a man
liking.
lives in the house as well. Like it's a shared living space. I have a man cave as well with sports memorabilia, racing memorabilia, all that sort of stuff. And Terry's all happy with that. But like also, it's like okay, I think I would like this picture here and this picture there, and it's just stuff like that.
All right. Well, let's get to the YouTube live chat poll results real quick. Mark, I want you to answer this. Do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe? Yes, but no U.S. compromise. Yes, and the United States needs to change course, or no?
Yes, but no U.S. compromise.
Okay, let's see what the results are. Ethan, why don't you hit them with us?
210 votes on the YouTube live chat poll. Do you wish for improved relations between the United States and Europe? Only 3% say yes, but the U.S. must change course. 9% say just flat out no. 24% say straight up yes. And then an overwhelming winner today, 64% saying yes, but no U.S. compromise.
Yep, I'm right there with you, Mark.
There you go.
All right, you going to talk about the King of England?
We are.
Well,
much about the King. Jen Say from XXXY Athletics as well in the first hour.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to be listening to that. Working a by Jove like the King did in front of Congress.
All right.
Just randomly sometime.
Maybe Fred. I'll put that on Fred this
I like to
afternoon.
hear Fred say that. Mark Reardon Show coming up next, the 97.1 FM Talk.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by LendSeek.
Do you feel the need to compete with your neighbor? You're not alone.
You know, they get a new pool. You want a new pool. They get a new car. You get a new car.
Financial planner Sherry Greco-Rikis says be yourself and be true to your values. It's not just good for your emotional well-being. Your wallet will thank you as well. The competition for stuff, she says, is a road to ruin.
You're going to end up increasing debt, especially credit card debt that you may never get out of.
I'm Rob Hart.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities